1 teams, the number 2 seed Southview Cougars of Sylvania and the number 4 Wadsworth Grizzlies. Hi again, everybody. This is John Bernard bringing you the play-by-play action here on WCTV Sports, along with the color commentator, Larry Varner. Both these schools are coming off big victories. Wadsworth over Anthony Wayne and Southview defeated Marysville. For either of these teams to advance to the state semifinal game, they're going to have to put together an equally impressive showing tonight. The Grizzlies probably, Larry, won't have to worry about scoring. The key for them is going to be their defense.
Well, I think last week they played an outstanding defensive game against Anthony Wayne, and they're going to need some more of that tonight. Something else to look for is Joe Tricone is going to have a big night tonight. A couple things about that. The defense for this team is very, very good, particularly their middle linebacker. A kid by the name of Ben Apgar is the best player on the team, and believe it or not, he's in on 70% of the tackles. And what they do with their defensive line, the defensive line doesn't try to tackle, but what they do is try to neutralize the Wadsworth offensive line tonight so the linebacker can make the tackle. So hopefully Tricone can have a big game. On offense, Midview, as one of the coaches described it, they have a gonzo offense. They go with the single wing. They have 2 quarterbacks on lots of plays. They'll snap to either quarterback. They run lonesome polecat, all kinds of bizarre offensive plays.
What we're going to see is that they run virtually every play from the shotgun. They have 4 receivers on a side, nobody in the backfield. You mentioned they spread the linemen all over the field. Sometimes only the center's over the ball. And with those spread formations, though, the Cougars prefer to attack on the ground.
It is interesting. You think they'd be a passing team with that, but they're not. The key for the Wadsworth defense is, the best way I can say it, is our players are going to have to stay at home. Well, what I mean by that, they're going to have an assignment. They've got a man, they've got an area, and they can't let the trickery fool them. They're just going to have to hang back and let the play develop. And it's funny, with all the offense of sets that this team has, they don't score that many points. Lane Wadsworth is outscoring them about 10 points a game. They are 11-1. The only team they lost to was Toledo Start, inner city Toledo school, but they did beat Anthony Wayne to win the Northern Lakes County Conference. In fact, if Wadsworth wins tonight, they could probably claim the Northern Lakes County Conference championship because they've beaten the top 2 teams. The weather conditions are not particularly good. Very windy, gusty, rain. So that's going to mitigate against the passing game a little bit.
Grizzlies are going to kick it off. Sam Gelpert teeing it up. For Southview, well, they're going to have their hands full, as you all know, trying to figure out a way to contain the Grizzlies' air attack. Although they do sport a defense that has allowed just 10 points per game this season and 13 points total in their 2 playoff wins.
Well, I think the fort of the team is defense. Defense is what's got them this far. They have an adequate offense, probably the best way to describe it, with all their gimmickry, but the defense has played very, very well for Southview. So here comes the kickoff, and we'll just see what happens.
Galper, a low line drive kick off the front of one of the up men for Southview, and the tackle there, Larry, was made by
Tom Easton. Number 41 was in on the tackle, among some of the others. One thing I want to mention is you watch the Easton come in here from the right and make the tackle. It doesn't look it, but this is an artificial turf field. They play, 4 different schools play here: Tiffin and Heidelberg College, plus Columbian and Calvert High School. So it's and there you see the 2 quarterback set, 2 backs in the backfield, 2 wide receivers at the bottom of the screen.
And the give goes to number 20, Brad Strube. Takes it to the 41. Is it Strube or Strub, Larry?
I think it's Strub.
S-T-R-U-B.
Strub.
Number 20.
And Strub is their big running back. He's the one that's going to carry the ball. The other back in the 2 quarterback set is Chad Peterson. Peterson is the only one that throws the ball. And what you will see the Cougars do is try to run wide. And look at this set they have. Now they got 2 linemen and a wide receiver to the left, quarterback to the right. And he's
fumbles the ball, and Jake McElvain comes in, and then right behind him is Tony Moeller.
One of the difficulties with the offense that the Cougars run is a relatively high-risk offense. I mean, the ball's being snapped a long distance, almost like as you watch the ball fumbled there on the snap. Every snap's like a field goal or a punt snap, and there's a lot of tricky ball handling going on, and these weather conditions don't bode well for Southview.
The quarterback, Chad Peterson, can also run, Larry. He has 703 yards rushing coming into tonight's game.
Now they're in a double wing set.
Snap is low. Peterson looking down the middle of the field, and it's incomplete at midfield, where it'll be fourth down for the Cougars. They will have to punt.
Well, if you watch this, as the wide receiver breaks to the outside and the quarterback goes over the middle, there is a miscommunication there. I think you can see right there the wide receiver, number 21, was heading for the sidelines, and so we're going to have our first punt of the night. And
you know, Larry, we're real quick on that weather again. We're complaining about the rain, but it could also be about 40 degrees cooler than.
Oh yes, oh yes. It is relatively warm. It's about 55 degrees at rain time, so it is an unpleasant condition. Just it's going to be very wet tonight.
Back to punt for the Cougars. Tony D'Amico, end over end, bounces at the 44, where it's downed by number 7. Dominic Lociego of Sylvania Southview. Grizzlies take over at the 44, first and 10.
It was only a 30-yard punt, and then the ball had backspin on it and bounced back towards the Southview end of the field, as you see the Wadsworth faithful there.
I looked over at the Southview side. 10 minutes before the game started, it wasn't very full, but now it is.
I think they were all standing under the stadium. Wadsworth in their traditional eye.
Mike Hoover. First play on offense, rolling out to the right, looking for Chris Brink, long downfield, and he finds Vujis, and it's an incomplete pass, broken up by number 32 of the Cougars, Dave Paul, a junior.
Well, actually, Hoover is pretty lucky. He wasn't intercepted on that. It sailed a little bit high and out of the reach of Vujis, and there was a Southview defender there. Couldn't quite get his hands on the ball. So that's what you're going to see tonight. I guess fakes to Chacomie, and then Hoover rolling wide looking for the pass.
Hoover, 3,063 passing yards for the season. He completes 55% of his passes, has 36 touchdowns and only 6 interceptions. From the shotgun, handoff to Joe Chacomie, trying to get around the end, steps back inside, and he's dropped at about the 46.
For a gain of 2. Again, on defense, you want to watch number 55, Ben Apgar, and he's going to be in or around every play. And as I said before, the defense is organized to allow him to do that. The rest of the people, it's like gets people out of the way so Apgar can make the tackle. So brings up 3rd and 9 for Wadsworth. Back in the eye, they operated out of the shotgun last time.
Hoover going to roll to the left this time. He's at the 40, throws it downfield to Adam Copeland. Caught. Gets away from 2 defenders at the 45, or the 35, I'm sorry, and he carries it down to the 28.
Beautiful pass by Hoover, but after that, the moves that Copeland made, as you watch Hoover this time rolls to the left, he's got good protection. He's got all the time in the world, and actually he could probably run for the first down right there, but he hits Copeland. Now watch the move Copeland makes right there. There's move number 1 to get around Allen, move number 2 there, and then he'll cut it back up inside, surprisingly, right there, and gain another 10 yards.
A pitch, Joe Chacomie at the 30, dives forward, falls at about the 26.
It's going to be a pickup of maybe 2 on the play, and I think from that play you can see just how quick the Southview linebackers are, because it looked good when it started. There wasn't anybody there at the line of scrimmage, but that's the way they play the game. Not to make contact at the line, but get the linebackers up to make the tackle.
Junior Joe Chacomie with over 1,500 yards rushing now. He has 16 touchdowns on the season. One of those is a receiving touchdown. Hoover fakes the handoff, looks to the middle of the field. Now he runs the other way with it at the 25, and he steps away from a defender at the 20, and he's finally tackled at the 13. Fine moves by Mike Hoover, who has run the ball well all season.
I was reading some of the comments of the Southview coach, and he said one of the things that we can't prepare our kids for is Mike Hoover. I've never seen a quarterback that big who can run the ball that well. And Hoover, that time, the good moves and to get loose, and then the strength to bust it on through, and Wadsworth comes up with a 1st and 10 on the 17. So far, it's been a very impressive drive for Wadsworth.
Grizzlies methodically moving the ball down the field. Joe Chacomie steps over the middle, bounces off the line, open to the end zone, and it's down at the 1.
He was stopped, and it looked like, yeah, his knee was down as he leaned forward and tried to push the ball over. But that was one nice move by Chacomie. He got through the line, then broke to the outside. Copeland did a good job downfield of screening off the 1 safety so that he could get all those yards. So 1st and goal for Wadsworth, and see exactly where they spot it.
Chris Hawkins, the sophomore, in at fullback.
Boy, that is really close to the goal line.
Mike Hoover keeps it himself. Just falls between the center and the guard into the end zone for a Wadsworth touchdown.
Well, I'll tell you, they came out and made a statement, that's for sure. And
it's like parting the Red Sea.
Yeah, you got to give a lot of credit to the Wadsworth offensive line on that play. They just wedged the people out, and Hoover, though he dove in the end zone, didn't have to. I think he was about 3 yards in when he started his dive, and here's Sam Galpert to try the extra point.
Give credit to the Wadsworth line on that touchdown.
Penalty flag.
Slow. Might have been motion on.
Flag on the play.
The line there, we'll see.
One thing about Sylvania Southview, they're not a very disciplined team, particularly on defense. Now, I don't know the number, but they have a tremendous number of personal fouls, and their defense tends to be man-to-man and kind of ragged and spotty, and they're not playing as a team defense. So that might be something to watch. Penalties against Southview could be a big part of this game.
It was encroachment on the defensive line. Wadsworth will choose to just kick it again from the 10-yard line. Sam Galpert gets a kick block, and his whistle blown dead. That was...
The extra point attempt is blocked by Jeff Rowe.
Jeff Rowe was the one who blocked the extra point. He came in, lined up as a wide end, an end on the right-hand side of the defense, and came in relatively untouched. So I think, is that the first one that Galpert had blocked? I think he had one other block this year, just plain block.
Sam had, prior to that kick, made 48 extra points out of, I believe, 52 tries.
I think he missed 2 and had 2 blocks, something like that. So with 8:10 to go in the first quarter, it's 6-0 Wadsworth, and Wadsworth will kick off for the second time. And
usually consistent. Sam Galpert gets one block, but...
Well, I don't think that was his fault. No, nobody took out that guy on the end of the line. I mean, if you don't block the people, no extra point's ever going to be good.
We'll see if that comes into play later in the game.
Well, I think the Southview defense had their eyes opened up on that one. They know now tonight what they're going to face. And when the coach says they've never faced a passing game or a quarterback like Hoover, you can see what he was talking about.
Jeff Rowe and Brad Scrub standing at their own 10-yard line to receive the kick. It's another low one. Bounces to Scrub, picks it up at the 13. Looks for a hole. And he's brought down from behind by number 25, I think, Nate Stone.
That was about a 10-yard run back, but it was good coverage by Wadsworth. The ball squirts down the field. Scrub actually does a good job of picking it up there. And you can see 5, 10 yards, and maybe 15 right there, and then that's it. So there they are in the 2-quarterback offense with a wing left and 2 receivers to the left.
Peterson, quick handoff to Scrub. He's being chased by Chris Brink, and Steve Robertson helps him out, and they bring him down just about a yard behind the line of scrimmage.
Well, that's what the Wadsworth defenders have to do. That time, particularly, Steve Robinson stayed home. As you watch, there's almost a fumble on the handoff here. The quarterback just barely gets it to the other running back, bobbled around a bit. But he tried to run wide, and everybody over there just held their ground. There's good pursuit coming here. And then Steve Robertson comes up with a little help from his friends and makes the tackle, 2nd and 11.
Number 20, Scrub, 1,264 rushing yards coming into tonight. He averages 7 yards a carry. He gets the ball, and he's met there by number 45, Tony Moeller.
And Moeller did a good job, again, staying home, filling the hole right there, just like a linebacker should, and just bringing him down. That's going to bring up a 3rd down and 10. And so far, the plays that Southview's been running have been pretty conventional. The sets have been unconventional, but the plays haven't been.
The Wadsworth defense has allowed 21 points a game this season. Doesn't really matter because the offense averages 35 a game.
But I think the defense is really proud of what they did last week, and well, they should be, to hold Anthony Wayne to only 2 touchdowns. Here comes
a reverse. This is Jeff Rowe at the 25, the 30, pushed out of bounds, short by Pat McCarthy.
Short of the 1st down. And that's the kind of razzle-dazzle you can expect. But Pat McCarthy came up, read that pretty well, and knocked them out of bounds for a gain, but not a 1st down.
Jeff Rowe, the leading receiver on the Cougar team. Very
4th and 3, and the Cougars are going to punt.
Joe Jacoby is deep for Wadsworth.
Joe Tricomie standing at the Wadsworth 35.
Tony D'Amico is the punter. He's also wide receiver, a wide out for the Cougars. Good snap.
Tricomie lets it bounce, and he's going to let Southview down it. They do at the
38-yard line.
Where the Grizzlies, after a fine first series on offense, come out for their second try.
It was about a 32-yard punt, and the ball, when it hit, it's the second one we saw tonight, knuckleball backwards. So Wadsworth takes over in relatively good field position at the 38-yard line, and see what they can do this time. Come out in the I formation once again. Two receivers to the top of your screen.
Fake handoff. Hoover now going to throw it over the top to Copeland.
About a 12-yard pickup.
Sorry, that was Chris Hawkins out of the backfield. Hoover was in trouble, and he just stepped back into the pocket after he'd rolled out and popped it over the middle.
You can watch Hoover. He's about to get hit, and there's Hawkins. And they've done that throughout the year. Use that up back. Not very often, but it's pretty effective. Either Matt Stone, Steve Hawkins, to get out there, catch the ball. And there's Hawkins up the middle.
And Hawkins barrels his way down to the 44.
And that's the second time in a row they've used the up back, which they haven't used much all year. And you got to figure that Southview's not looking for that. They're looking for Tricomie on the handoff or Tricomie on the draw. And particularly the way that they play, if the linemen aren't going to make tackles, that is, they're just trying to down block on the line, there's room for somebody in the quick hitter.
Hoover back to pass, throws it long downfield over the head of Vujis into the end zone.
Actually, he was well covered on that play. Number 21, Jeff Rowe, who is one of the wideouts on offense, did a very good job. And Hoover, I think he just threw that ball where, well, if my guy can't catch it, nobody's going to. But that was a good call on 3rd and 5. Figure you got at least 1, maybe 2 downs to come back and pick up the 5 yards.
Third and 5, ball on the 45. Hoover going to throw it again, looking for Osterlin to the left. Then he goes to Copeland, incomplete, 4th and 5.
A little bit high. A little bit high. So Wadsworth is going to punt for the first time tonight.
4th and 5.
And Southview, barring a spectacular return, is going to be stuck deep in their own end zone.
Justin Blackburn ready to punt it away. It's a high spiraling kick, not very deep. Hits at the 27 and bounces out of bounds.
At about the 22-yard line. So, Southview will take over for their 3rd possession on the 22-yard line. And there you see one of the Wadsworth coaches. I can't tell who that is.
That's Coach Robinson.
Robinson, okay. Down there on the sideline, marshaling his troops. And there they are in the 2-quarterback offense once again. And the center will snap the ball to either one of the two, but only number 3 does any passing.
3's going to keep it himself. That's Chad Peterson, the quarterback, at 25, and we see some good running there. I mentioned he's the 2nd leading rusher on the Cougars. The ball now lays at the 30.
You know, it's funny, you look at those backs and you don't really know what to call them. They're not really quarterbacks. They're not really halfbacks. They're just backs, and they do it all. So that was a gain of 8 yards, and you could see how well he can run.
2nd and 2.
2nd down and 2 for the Cougars. Peterson, quick hand to Scrub at the 30. Greg Dent makes the tackle at the 35.
But it's a pickup of 5, and it'll be the first down for the Cougars tonight. And again, you see a rather nice play. Quick handoff there. He finds just enough of an opening in the line of scrimmage to squirt through for 5 yards. And there's Greg Dent making the tackle.
1st down, Cougars.
Clock running, 4:35 in the first quarter.
35-yard line.
That was the first down for the Cougars tonight.
Peterson going to keep it himself, 35, and the linebackers came into the backfield to make that play.
Also on the tackle, number 71 there, Jeff Dietrich, saw him. And there's a Wadsworth player injured on the play.
Number 51, Mike Delnos.
Mike Delnos was in on the play.
I don't know Mike Delnos. I know Matt Delnos.
Yeah, Mike, I'm sorry.
It sounded like the PA announcer said
Well, actually, I know Mike. No. I know his two brothers, but that's Brad, Matt. So, no Mike.
Well, while we have a injury timeout here, Larry, a little bit about the state playoffs. Who will tonight's winner be playing next week? Well, we don't really know. That's yet to be determined from what I've been told. You would assume, here's the matchup, you would assume the winner of tonight's game would play the winner of the Walsh-Bookville game being played Farber.
No.
Maybe not.
Maybe not, folks, because if Lake happens to beat Olentangy, and it's very likely, Lake is heavily favored in that game, then Wadsworth would probably end up playing the Lebanon Edgewood leader. And it's really up for grabs, and nobody will know until Sunday morning, because there are 3 possible regional championships in the Akron area.
Scrub gets the handoff. He's pretty quick, gets around the end. Delno's chasing him down and leaves it up to Vujis to push him out of bounds. Boy, he got out of there quick.
Now, that was the time that it all worked. But going back to the playoffs again, tonight, as you watch this play, a flag on the play, and looks like it's going to be against Sylvania Southview.
They're marching back.
As far as the playoffs are concerned, Walsh and Bookville are playing tonight, and you would think if Wadsworth wins, they'd play the winner of those two. But the thing is, Lake is actually further east than Wadsworth is, which means if they go by region, that they probably will, and Lake wins, that would mean Lake would play the winner of the Walsh-Bookville game and leave Wadsworth to play the winner of the Cincinnati region, who would be either, as we said, Lebanon or Trenton Edgewood, two very good teams.
The game would be in Columbus.
Probably in Columbus, yeah. Some of the things we've heard about is the new soccer stadium they have down
Columbus
there.
Crew Stadium.
Or Dublin Scioto Stadium. Quick pass.
That one to Rowe, and he makes some fancy footwork moves that only gains about a yard.
Well, that was the first time they used that type of setup where they had 2 linemen and a wide receiver set to the right, stand up in a quick pitch, but Matt Delnos was there to make the tackle. But to wrap the playoff business up, nobody's going to know until Sunday morning. That's when the Ohio High School Athletic Association will make their decision. So if we win, who knows where we're going to be next week. And
stay tuned to WCTV.
3rd and 9.
Peterson now going to throw it. Looking to the left, he's in trouble. Gets out of trouble. And finally tackles a gain of about 5 at the 40.
Number 19 was the person that finally made the stop. Greg Dent once again. We've been calling his name a bit tonight. Too bad he got away in the backfield, but still he's well short of the 4th down. It's going to be 4th and 5. So Southview is going to have to punt. As you watch Greg Dent come over, and as he tries to cut back in, make sure that he's there. And number 32, I believe, laying on the ground also. That would be Jake. Shall we call him Wilhite tonight? Yes, we shall. Good snap.
D'Amico's punt is high and off to his left. Bounces at the 32 of Wadsworth. Tricomie lets it roll to the 21 is where Wadsworth will start, 1st and 10.
So this would be Wadsworth's 3rd possession. First one, they marched down. They had a nice scoring drive, about 52 yards. Second time they had to punt the ball. So 2:11 to go in the first quarter as Wadsworth takes over on the 21. See what they can do this time.
The rain has subsided here for now.
Well, Cripes, they were predicting thunderstorms when I was listening to the weather this afternoon. Thunderstorms on November the 19th. That's really something.
Mike Hoover hands it off while running to Joe Tricomie. He gets nowhere, may have lost a yard or 2. Another game tonight of interest, Larry. Division III, Region 9.
Oh, yeah.
Copley versus Orville.
Oh, I'm glad I'm here broadcasting this game, but if I wasn't here, I would pay to see that one. Who are you picking in that one?
I'd go with Copley.
You would? I think I would too, but they're going to be in for a tussle. I'll tell you, Wadsworth has done so well in the playoffs, it makes you appreciate just how good that Copley team is to beat Wadsworth 35-7. They're legitimate state contenders.
Hoover fakes the handoff, rolls the other way, finds Chris Brink at the 25, the 35, the 40. Midfield pushed out of bounds. Chris Brink.
I don't know how many times I've said this year, Chris Brink is too fast for a linebacker and too small for a safety to handle. And you can see that. He came out clean. Now remember, they're playing a 4-4 with outstanding linebackers. Chris Brink got away from them. Then when the first corner or safety tried to make the hit, Chris had none of that. He just rambled right through him. So that's a pickup of 10, 20, 30, about 32 yards.
And we've seen that play work a lot. Chris
Yeah.
just spins out of that tight end position. He's open out there, no man's land, and has plenty of room to run. Now Hoover, short drop back over the middle. Slant pattern was run by Copeland and intercepted by number 1 of the Cougars, Tony D'Amico.
That was rather a poor pass. It was thrown behind Copeland. It would have been nice if it had worked. If Copeland probably would have had a touchdown. But Sylvania Southview managed to make the interception. So that stops the Wadsworth drive with 1:21 to go in the first quarter.
That's only Mike Hoover's 7th interception in 12 games.
Yeah, well, when you consider this is the 13th game, that's not bad.
Yeah, 12 and a quarter games. Peterson, quick handoff to Scrub. We've seen this play quite a few times already tonight. One missed tackle by Jake Wilhite. Another by Robertson. He forced him out of bounds.
Well, this is what Wadsworth has to be careful of, those wide sweeps. They like to run wide. They're not going to run off the middle more. It puts a lot of pressure on the corners and the outside, say, defensive end or linebacker who happens to be on that side to keep contained and not let them get outside. They did a pretty good job that time, actually, even though there was a 6-yard pickup. You don't like to see 6 yards, but could have been a lot worse.
2nd and 4, ball resting on the 36 of the Cougars. Peterson awaiting the snap. It's low, hands it to Scrub. Scrub runs up the middle, and he's tackled at the 42.
But he's got a first down. Tell you what impresses me about this Scrub is the way he hangs back just a little bit and picks his holes. It's not like he's just charging up to the line. Right, he's looking, and you see these little moves on him, this way, that way, as he looks for that little bit of advantage, little hole, little crease in the defense to pick up the extra couple yards. So it's a first down for the Cougars. That's their second first and 10, I believe.
2 receivers to the right of the line. Peterson barking the call out that way. Another handoff to Scrub, finds a hole, but it's brought down by Chris Brink at the line of scrimmage. Maybe gained 1.
That was a very nice play by Chris. If you watch from his defensive end, he just slants in, finds a bit of an opening. There isn't blocked, and just managed to tackle him by the shoestrings there. It's going to be 2nd down and 8. And barring an incomplete pass, this is going to be the last play of the quarter with the ball on the 44-yard line.
Again, trying to get around the end. Scrub takes the handoff. Robertson got blocked out of the way.
But Robertson did a good job at slowing him down and turning the play in, so helped this time.
And Matt Delnos and Jeff Petrie and Greg Den all there to help.
But again, give credit to Steve Robertson for spreading it out. And that's going to be the end of the first quarter. Here's the score, Wadsworth 6, Sylvania.
One last thing on the state playoffs, Larry. There's some pros and cons about the extra week, in which they doubled the number of teams that made the playoffs. Of the 48 teams still alive in the state playoffs, 19 of them are teams that would not have made the postseason last year. And so many of these area teams have been able to advance in the Division II playoffs because they're scattered among the 4 regions.
Well, got the stats for you for the first quarter, thanks to John Hoover for Wadsworth. Ben Hoover has tried 6 passes, completed 3 for 87 yards. Mike Hoover for 87 yards and 1 TD. Hawkins, 1 carry, so there's 1 completion for 5 yards. But Cromie has 3 runs, 16 yards. Wadsworth has 6 first downs, 1 interception. Chris Brink and Copeland are the big receiver, 37 and 38 yards respectively. For some other stats we have here, the quarterback for Sylvania Southview, 1 for 1 for 8 yards. and most of the yardage has been on the ground.
Brink tried to make the sack, couldn't. Peterson got away from him. Now Brink and Dent from behind. Chris Brink a little upset with himself that he didn't sack him back at the line of scrimmage.
So the running game, after the first sputter or two, we watched Chris Brink come in here and just miss. And I mean just miss. But you can't hit those first shots because you're not going to get that many second chances on these people. They are good runners. So this is the first time that Cougars are in the Wadsworth territory and look like they're finding some kind of a drive here.
The rain's falling again. It's been on and off since about a half hour or to an hour before the game started. Peterson hands it to Scrub. Scrub brought down at the line of scrimmage by
Jake Wilhite.
Yes, thank you.
So you could see Straub as he tries. Watch the little dip right there as he's looking for the hole, trying to get outside. And you see Wilhite just grabbed him by an ankle. And that's how they're tackled on this job. They're just getting a hand or two on him. Nobody's hitting him solid, just managed to bring him down.
Well, the PA announcer is pronouncing it Strub. I don't know. It's spelled S-T-R-U-B.
But unlike the running back for Anthony Wayne, at least he has a vowel in it.
Yeah. Strub gets it. He's at the 40, the 35, and some team tackling done by the Grizzlies.
So you pick up a 6 and bring up about 3rd and 3.
Stop by Jake Wilhite.
As you see the rain coming down on your TV screen, and you can see we can see the rain dripping all over our monitor, which is out in the open here. The wind has actually died down a bit. It was blowing 20 to 30 miles an hour from left to right on your TV screen. That seems to slow down a bit, but the rain is starting to come down now fairly heavily. Quarterback is calling out, looks like an audible to his 2 wideouts on the left.
And he keeps it himself, and he's brought down from behind. Pat McCarthy snuck up behind him, brought him down at the 31.
But I think that's going to be a first down.
There you see the rain on the screen, Larry.
Yep. The referees are taking a look, and they're going to call for a measure. No, they're just saying it's short. So it's going to be, I'm surprised they didn't measure that. They're close enough to measure, but it's 4th and inches. And this is the first big play of the game for the Wadsworth defense. And also look out for him going for it all. And the quarterback's up under center, which I do believe that thing is the first snap he's taken under center all year.
He just scored through both lines and got the first down at the 27 is where the ball is now.
So Sylvania Southview's got a nice drive going for him here down to the 32-yard line. As always, in games like this, we don't really know what kind of a kicker they've got, but they're certainly in 4-down territory, particularly with the kind of offense they run. So 9-12, 9-10 to go in the second quarter. 1st and 10 for Southview on the 27-yard line.
We see all these weird formations, Larry, but really it's just been Peterson and Strub. Now the pass is to Rowe, and he's pushed out of bounds at the 15, just kind of opened out the flat there and made a move on the first defender to get a few extra yards.
You know, you wonder when he was going to do that. I mean, they've got those wide receivers all over the field, and they have to throw it to him, and that was the time they did. They're really out of bounds on the 19-yard line. So it's going to, the 14, I'm sorry. So Sylvania Southview is really knocking on the door right here, and they're marching the ball down the field very well. And like you said, for all the bizarre formations, they've actually played a very conservative football game.
Peterson fumbles a snap, picks it up, runs with it himself.
Maybe a yard.
They're still at about maybe a yard at the 13.
Stop by Chris Brink.
Well, they're giving them a pickup of 2 on the play.
Ball at the 10-yard line.
So it's going to bring up a second down. And, well, he got 4 on that. It didn't look like it when the hit was made, but they moved it down the 10-yard line, so it's going to be 2nd and 6. 2 wideouts to the top of your screen. They got a wing back to the top of your screen.
And Strub got the fake, and Peterson kept it himself and ran to the right, and the Cougars are threatening down to the 5.
Stopped by Jake Wilhite.
I think they're going to mark it short of the first down, but it's going to bring up a 3rd and a yard. That's what they're marking, a 3rd and 1. On just inside the 5-yard line. So the Cougars are making a real statement here, marching down the field on the Wadsworth defense.
Ball inside the 5.
Peterson now going to step up under center. Keeps it himself, tries to go left, goes back inside the middle, and he gets in for the touchdown. A rushing touchdown for Chad Peterson of Southview, and they're going to kick the extra point, or attempt to, and go up by 1.
Looks like Mike Hoover here wasn't a quarterback sneak. He took the ball and just ran down the line of scrimmage looking for an opening, found one, squirted through, and then dove into the end zone. That was a very, very nice drive by Sylvania Southview. And if they make the extra point here, they can go up on Wadsworth 7-6.
Number 24, Jason Roberts, will attempt the extra point. Chad Peterson holding.
Peterson the hold. The extra point is up and good.
Got to give the holder a lot of credit. That was a poor snap, but almost went over the holder's shoulder, and he managed to bring around and put it down.
Jason Robbins, number 24, a senior kicker there on the extra point.
Well, you know, we were asking, well, we don't know that much about these teams. They have a kicker. I'll tell you, that kicker got a lot of good leg into that one, that's for sure. And so Wadsworth will take over on the kickoff, and let's see if they can get something going to take the lead again. 7:31 to go, so there's plenty of time before halftime for Wadsworth to score. Of course, you know, a minute is plenty of time for Wadsworth to score.
I'd like to mention some of the Associated Press honors that both these teams had some representatives on that. First team AP Northwestern All-District for Southview, Jeff Rowe, the receiver. Offensive line, Brian Kazur. The kicker, Jason Robbins, who we just mentioned. Defensive lineman, Ben Apgar. And defensive back, Kyle Harrison. The second team, AP Northwestern All-District. Running back, Brad Struve. And quarterback, Chad Peterson. After the kick, I'll have the Wadsworth representative.
Well, you don't go 11-1 and not have a bunch of good people, that's for sure. Nice to see them get recognized for what they've done.
Robbins' kick is a hard one that bounces and is picked up by Ben Osterland at the 25. He falls right at the 30. The Associated Press Northeast All-District members from the Wadsworth Grizzlies. First team, Adam Copeland, Chris Brink, and Mike Hoover.
Well, boy, that's a surprise, isn't it?
Yeah. And honorable mention was tackle Ian Formaz, guard and linebacker Matt Delnos, running back Joe Triconi, kicker Sam Galpert, and wide receiver defensive back Ben Vugis.
Sounds good to me.
Hoover fakes the handoff. Long down the middle over the head of Chris Brink.
Over the head of everybody. I think some of the Wadsworth fans were looking for interference, or maybe it was the Sylvania Southview fans were looking for interference.
It looked like Chris Brink unintentionally gave a little shove to the defender there.
But nothing was called. Incomplete pass, so it's 2nd down and 10 on the 30.
Head coach Jim Mays is from Southview. He also runs the defense on the Cougars team. Chris Hawkins takes the handoff up the middle, gains a nice chunk of yardage down to the 37.
So you got about 7 yards. Got about. They call Jake Wilhite, but no, it's Chris Hawkins. So it's a nice 7-yard pickup.
Coach Jim Mays is in his 6th year at Southview. He has a record of 45-19.
That's quite impressive. So 3rd and 3 for Wadsworth on the 37.
Ben Osterland in motion. Hoover, short drop back. A turnaround by Copeland. Nice hand. And a flag dropped right where the catch was made.
I don't know if that's going to be holding or a face mask, perhaps. Let's see what they call it. The first down Wadsworth, no matter what, as you watch Hoover throw the ball. Let's see if we can pick up a penalty.
Late hit.
Oh, are they going to call a late hit on that?
Personal foul there.
I think they call pass interference.
Yes.
So Wadsworth will take the penalty because that's a 15-yard penalty, and they only gained 4 on the play. So evidently they ruled that in the struggle that was going on for the ball that Chris was hit too soon. And you can see the referees marking off 5, 10, 15 yards. So that'll give Wadsworth the first and 10 on the 48 with 6:40 to go in the second quarter. And the Wadsworth band strikes up some tunes. They were not here at the beginning of the game. I don't know if their bus got held up or what.
Grizzlies now in Southview territory. Mike Hoover takes the snap. Short drop back again. He pump fakes to Copeland, who turns around and makes the catch at the 25.
Oh, my. You know, that was awfully good defense by number 21, D'Amico, too. He did everything that you can ask a cornerback to do. He didn't really bite on the fake, and when Copeland went by, he was right with him. Almost made the interception.
We saw that play work for a touchdown against Anthony Wayne, where Adam Copeland just stops, takes the pump fake, spins around, and continues further downfield, and then Hoover lofts it up for him. What a catch by Adam Copeland. For Comey's going to be whistled down there. That will not be a fumble. He's whistled down just...
Well, the difference between this week and last week, when Copeland did that, the Anthony Wayne back was 15 yards behind him when he caught the ball. That time, again, good defense. The defensive back was there. So they're ruling no gain on that play.
Second 10 ball now on the 26.
And I'm sure Wadsworth is in 4-down territory if they choose to use it here.
Then Douglas in motion. Hoover rolling that way where Copeland and Douglas are. He looks for Copeland. Copeland makes the catch at the 14, out of bounds.
Hey, I got to say it again. There was nothing wrong with that defense. It was just an outstanding throw and an outstanding catch. I mean, if the Southview players got any closer, they'd be called for pass interference on every play. Hoover's got all the time in the world if he rolls out here. But watch when Copeland makes the catch where the defender is. Like right there, what else can you do? So it's the first and 10, Wadsworth at the 15, 5:35 to go, plenty of time.
Quick handoff to Chris Hawkins, and he runs into his own man, Ian Formaz. Otherwise, he may have had a shot at the end zone.
He picked up 5. And what's working for them tonight is not Tricome coming through second, but Hawkins coming through first. It doesn't look like anybody's picking him up. So I don't know if the defense for Sylvania is keen on Tricome, but Chris Hawkins has had some very nice 5, 6, 10-yard runs here tonight, just getting the ball quickly and right up the middle.
Second and 6 now, ball on the 11. Fakes the quick handoff. Hoover keeps it himself. He's at the 5. The 3 is where he's brought down.
First down. That was not a design run. Hoover was going to pass, and he just turned after the fake and looked for a receiver, and there was just nobody there in the flat. And as you could see, he ran 10 yards before anybody hit him. Then he stumbled forward for another couple. First and goal, Wadsworth at the 4-yard line. Good heads-up play by Hoover.
Should the Grizzlies score a touchdown here, I'd put money on them going for 2 to
Tricome, touchdown.
Joe Tricome, a 3-yard touchdown, running the ball just through the line, and strongly gets the touchdown for the Grizzlies.
Going for the 2-point conversion here. If you remember the 2-point conversion they scored a couple of games ago, they come out in a full-house backfield, and what they had is everybody, including Hoover, go right, and Tricome came out open. There weren't enough defenses back there to pick him up, so it was a little pitch to Tricome, who basically walked into the end zone.
He got some nice blocks there.
Notice they're lining up the ball on the left hash mark, which means, well, it looks like they're going to run the play to the right, watch for Hoover to roll out right, but on the other hand, it's a good fake to come back, fake to the right, and go to the left.
4:37 left in the first half.
They better go right.
And Hoover does roll that way, sees Copeland in the corner of the end zone, just out of his reach. Well, the intention was there, and Mike Hoover just threw it a little bit out of the reach of Adam Copeland, who had plenty of room on the far side of the end zone there to make the catch, but it's 12-7 with 4:37 to go. Grizzlies with the lead. First half to go.
Well, I think this game is going pretty much the way we expected it to. Sylvania Southview known for their running and for their gadget plays have been doing that, and Wadsworth has been using a nice mixture of pass and run to move up and down the field.
1988 dealer's bag.
I think this is going to be a big series right here, because if Southview can march down the field and score, go in with the lead at halftime, that'll be one thing. If Wadsworth can stop them real quick and get the ball back with, say, maybe 2 minutes to go and push down for a score or a field goal, that would be rather disheartening. So I think this is a big series of downs right here. Galford tees up the ball on the 40.
Sam Galford kick off for the Grizzlies.
Two players back to receive the kick for the Southview Cougars. Jeff Rowe is one.
Galford kicks it off this time.
And it goes to the other man back to receive the kick, number 32, Dave Paul, a junior.
Took it on the 18 and ran for another 15 yards. So still, Southview takes over in pretty good shape on the 32-yard line. 4:32 to go in the first half. There's McCarthy making the tackle.
Referee signals. Play to start. Peterson in the shotgun, all alone in the backfield. Stroud runs the other way, takes the handoff, runs into a wall of red at the 34.
There wasn't anything there, and he was lucky to get back as much as he did. It's on Matt Delno, so I think it's the one that put the final hit on. But really, it was just the whole. Jake Wilhite give credit for the tackle, too, and Dietrich, it was just the whole left side of the Wadsworth line. So pick up a 2, brings up second down and 8.
Delno's the leader on the Wadsworth defense last week, 7 tackles. His blocking led to 494 yards of offense last week. Took a screen pass out to Rowe. He's at the 35, tries to get around more towards the center of the field, brought down at the 39. Now, Delno's, of course, not the only one that blocked to give the Grizzlies those 494 yards of offense.
That takes more than one.
Yeah, Delno started the season at defensive end, and he moved to inside linebacker the 8th game of the season due to the shoulder injury to Jake Karowski, who was the team's leading tackler at the time.
Here's a big play, 3rd and 3. If Wadsworth can stop Slovenia's going to have to punt.
Peterson keeps it himself. And he gets the first down and a couple more at the 44.
Flag on the play. And
Grizzlies clapping like it's on Southview. May have been holding.
let's see what the referees say.
And a holding.
That's a big penalty. That's going to be 10 yards from the spot of the foul. So instead of the 1st and 10, they're going to have a 3rd down, and I don't know how many, depending on the spot of the foul. Looks like it was right at the 1st down marker, so they're moving it back. It's going to bring up a 3rd and 10. 10-yard penalty for holding on Sylvania Southview.
And this is the Grizzly defense. We talked about their great effort last week. They held Anthony Wayne to only 68 yards and 4 first downs over the final 2.5 quarters, really, of the game.
I think Sylvania's going to have to pass the ball on this down. I don't think they can run for the 10 yards. Wadsworth sure playing fast.
They've got 4 receivers, 2 on each side. Over the middle of the row and complete.
Oh boy, was he open. Behind the linebackers in front of the safety, there wasn't a Wadsworth defender within 5 yards of him, and the ball was just somewhat underthrown. But look how open he is right there, and the ball bounced in front of him. So Sylvania Southview is going to kick, and Wadsworth will get the ball with about 2 minutes and 45 seconds to go, which is, you know, for Wadsworth, there's plenty of time to make something happen.
Sure, you could take the 2 minutes off of that and still be enough time.
Good kick.
Oh, moving punt way over the head of Joe Tricone, who lets it fall.
It's going to be down on about the 6 or 7 yard line. What a kick that was. That was about a 60 60-yard punt, and that wasn't one of those where you punt it for 30 and it rolls for 30. That one got up in the air. And talk about a clutch punt where if Wadsworth had got the ball like around the 40-yard line, they'd have plenty operating room. Now they're going to have to be kind of careful with 2:48 to go in the first half.
Tony D'Amico there making the moving punt.
That was a very nice punt. So Wadsworth comes out in the eye. They got two wide receivers to the bottom of the screen. And see what they can come up with in 2 minutes and 45 seconds.
Hoover going to throw, looking for Copeland, who
wide open.
Came back in, and he gains about
20 yards.
Yeah,
about 18, I think.
17 yards, and he's at the 25.
And Copeland just came wide open.
He just ran a great route, and you saw Hoover just standing back in the pocket, waiting for him to make that move, and as he did, he released the ball, and he was right there on the money.
So that gives Wadsworth some operating room.
Hoover going to pass again. Intercepted. That was intended for Joe Tricome, but intercepted by number 28, Kirk Jensen, the senior for the Tigers. And Larry, I believe that's only the first time Hoover's been intercepted twice in one game.
Well, evidently, Hoover didn't see Jensen because he was just standing there. That was not one of those spectacular interceptions. The ball was thrown right to him. You talk about things that you don't want to happen. Instead of Wadsworth either scoring or making the Cougars drive a long way, now they've got a 1st and 10 on the 22 with 2:33 to go, and they've got all 3 timeouts left.
Back to that play after this one. Peterson from the 27, incomplete, in and out of the hands of Stroud, who was wide open in the end zone. Lucky for the Grizzlies, it was not caught. That last play on the interception, Larry, had Hoover gotten that pass a little over the head of Jensen, Tricome was gone. There was everybody for the Southview defense was up, and you could see the play develop there as Tricome was running down the sideline. Pass just was not thrown high enough.
So brings up a 2nd and 10 on the 22.
Peterson to Stroud. He's at the 20, pushes through to about the 17 or 18.
So give him a pickup of 4 or 5. It'll bring up a 3rd down and 6. If you watch that little quick handoff, it just looks for an opening in the line. Perigo is there to bring him down at the bottom of that pile. Official will take a timeout for an equipment problem. It looks like Jake Wilhite has something wrong with his helmet. Now everything's okay again, and the referees wind up the clock. It's going to be a 3rd and 6 on the 18-yard line.
I would imagine the ball by now is pretty hard to keep a handle on. It's been raining on and off. Hands are wet, ball is wet, turf is wet. And that may have had something to do with the incomplete pass there in the end zone a couple plays ago.
And Southview calls a timeout. The quarterback and running back got together, and there's something they didn't like, so decided to call it timeout. So we got a minute 51 left in the second half, 12-7 Wadsworth. And again, a critical couple of plays here. If Southview can go in for the score, they'll go up at halftime, got to feel good about themselves. If Wadsworth can stop after the interception, the defense is going to have to feel good that they came up with that big stop. So see what happens here. Southview has 2 more timeouts, and Wadsworth has all 3 of theirs, I believe.
This is the second time that the Southview Cougars have made the state playoffs. They made it last year and lost in the second round.
So they've been here before.
Cougars won the Northern Lakes League. Grizzlies, of course, finished second in the Suburban League.
Big couple of plays here.
Peterson dropping back at the 30, looking, has to run. Brink is there to sack him along with Jeff Petrie.
That was a big play. And they just come in when they had to do what they did. It brings up a 4th down, and that was a loss of about 8 on the play, so it's going to bring up a 4th down and 12 or 13 yards to go. I'm sure Southview is going to go for it here, and there's a timeout being called by Wadsworth. And it's a good timeout. There's a lot on the line right here.
That was Chris Brink 7th sack of the season. He's the team leader in that category.
I'm not sure, but I think after the Copley game and maybe a little bit after the game against Grafton Midview, the defense might have been getting down on themselves a little bit for letting all those points be scored against them. They came up really big last week, as you know, and if they can make the stop here and hold this Southview team to only 7 points in the first half, they can go in feeling pretty good about themselves. And I think Southview is going to know for the first time since about the second week of the season, they're in a real struggle. It's kind of funny, they bring in a fresh ball like on every play or something, and it's not like they bring in a dry ball, it's just one that's less wet. So here we go, 4th and 12. And they're lining up to try a field goal. Wadsworth, I don't think, believes it for a second.
About a 40-yarder.
Yeah. The wind is behind them.
Robbins in to kick it. What a leg on this Robbins, and it is good.
Boy.
As Robbins puts it through, that was good from another 10 yards from there, and it's 12-10 Wadsworth with 1:21 to go in the half.
Well, looking at the flag, he's probably got about a 20-mile-an-hour wind blowing from his back, but even so, that was a tremendous game. Remember we were talking, oh, I don't know what kind of kicker they got, never seen this. They've got a fine kicker.
Wow, that was good from 50.
Yeah, not only was it good for 50, but I mean, it was like an NFL-type kick. I mean, the instant it left his foot, you knew that thing had the distance, and it just split the uprights. That was a very, very impressive kick.
And I mentioned he was a first-team kicker for the Northwestern District.
Yeah, I can see that. So Wadsworth will get the ball back. They're still leading, so that's some good news, 12-10. They'll get the ball back with about a minute, maybe 10 seconds to play, which again, for Wadsworth, is plenty of time to go pretty much down the field.
Jason Robbins, senior, 5'10", 160-pound kicker. Looks like he may have a future with that leg of his.
Starting to rain a little harder now, as it has been doing off and on all night. As we take our notebook.
My notes are dripping all over.
Yeah, I can't read mine any more than Dean, because I'll run all over mine. So.
Osterland and Tricome.
Good thing at the end of the season, we know the Wadsworth players.
And this one is booted into the end zone. And Osterland's just going to stop there and say, nice kick, we'll take it at the 20.
Yeah, that looks like NFL-type kick in there. So Wadsworth takes over. No time goes off the clock, of course, because he didn't come out with it. So let's see what the Grizzlies elect to do. They have 2 timeouts, as does Sylvania Southview.
Well, and you know what the Wadsworth passing game can do. Between Chris Brink, Adam Copeland, and Ben Vugis, those 3 have combined for over 2,500 yards receiving this year as Hoover scrambles out. Pushed out of bounds, and it got the 20.
What a great play. There's a penalty flag on the play. I thought that one just, everybody was running around too long. That was going to be too good to be true. Probably going to be holding against Wadsworth. Hoover did an outstanding job of getting away out all kinds of pressure. And Brink running to the open area, but unfortunately, there's going to be a holding call against Wadsworth. And they call him a legal block. I couldn't see the signal there. Oh, ineligible, yeah, say it.
Ineligible man.
Is that how you pronounce that?
Yeah.
Ineligible man downfield. And that's one of the problems when you have a quarterback scrambling around like that. It's just too long for those kids on the line to do what they're supposed to do without committing some kind of foul, either holding or like you see down there, illegal man downfield. So illegal man downfield, it's a 5-yard penalty, and I believe it's loss of down also. But they still have first down. I guess it's just 5 yards. So see what Wadsworth tries now.
Hoover dropping back, looking. Brink again, out of his reach at the 45.
Well, Brink was double covered that time, and it had to be a perfect pass. And what Hoover did is just throw it over everybody's head. If Brink couldn't catch it, nobody was going to. That's going to bring up a 2nd and 15. And you wonder how long Wadsworth is going to go with this passing. They sure don't want to have to punt from down here. So,
and seeing as close as this ball game is, we know that Southview can rely on their kicker to make a deep one to win the ball game.
yeah, so
Sam Galpert, a very, very consistent and accurate kicker, but not quite the strength in his leg as we've seen from the Southview kicker.
oh, they're still passing.
And a slant pattern run by Copeland. Gets away from 2 defenders at the 30. Steps back inside 35. Finally tackled at the 38.
Well, Copeland wasn't looking to stop the 35. He was doing everything he could to go all the way. And the clock will stop with 47 seconds to go as the chains get moved. So that takes Wadsworth out of trouble. And Wadsworth takes a timeout. That'll be their 2nd timeout. But watch Copeland here as he's looking for some place to run. Now, he could have actually got more yards if he had gone to the outside, but he would have been tackled. He's trying to make sure he gets to the end zone. So Wadsworth has the ball now on the 37-yard line as they take their 2nd timeout. And Southview has 2 timeouts also.
The wind has picked up a little more here. We're watching state high school playoff football here on WCTV Channel 16. And we are cleared to tape the next game too, Larry, should the Grizzlies win this game. And I mentioned, I think last game, that a cable network, ONN, Ohio News Network, has bought the exclusive rights to cover all 6 divisional championship games. As the Grizzlies are ready, Mike Hoover steps out of the pocket, decides to run it himself. He's at the 50 and brought down at just inside Southview territory.
So that's another first down for Wadsworth. 38 seconds to go. And I don't know if they're calling a timeout. Let's see what they're saying here. The timeout Wadsworth. So that's their final timeout. Because you watch Hoover, he looked to pass, and then he starts one of these patented rambles down the field. And little juke move there. Finally just buries his head, gets the first down, and takes it into Southview territory. So you say we can broadcast the game next week if there is one, but not the championship game, is that correct?
Well, yes. We would have to get in contact with the Ohio News Network and maybe work something out with them for that final championship game should the Grizzlies be there. I highly doubt we'd be capable of, or I should say allowed, to bring our whole mobile production unit to do it the way the Wadsworth community has enjoyed seeing these games all season long here.
Hey, it's too bad that somebody has to do that.
Now Vujis in motion, 38 seconds to go first half. Hoover rolling way out to the right, finds Copeland at the end, or
overthrown
at the sideline, and he was too far out of bounds, even if he had come.
Well, you know, it's a strange thing, you know, that people like to make money, and I'm sure the Ohio News Network has a right to make money and all that type of stuff, but you would think there'd be room somewhere to allow the local cable companies to broadcast the game. But what can I say?
As far as I know, about all they'll allow us to do is bring a tape recorder and just tape their entire feed of the game. 32 seconds to go. Handoff Joe Tricome. No, it's a fake down the field to Copeland.
That's pass interference.
Yes, Copeland was still up in the air trying to make the catch, and he was just pulled down.
Well, he was hit before that particular incident. He was bumped before he caught the ball. When he was in the air trying to make the catch, he was hit again. They could actually call pass interference twice on that one. So that pass interference 15 yards from the line of scrimmage is going to move the ball down to about the 35-yard line. And with 25 seconds to go, it's really amazing how this Wadsworth team could take 40 seconds and turn it into an eternity if you're a defense. So it's going to be 1st and 10 Wadsworth on the 25. And see if we can get the call here. I didn't see it, but I'm sure it was pass interference. So Wadsworth is on the march. And this is what's interesting. They're going into the wind.
Hoover straight drop back. Long downfield to Chris Briggs, and
just overthrown and almost intercepted too. And Chris decided he was going to play defensive back on that, but that wasn't a bad throw. Even if it were intercepted, I mean, you're burying Southview down in their own end zone, and perhaps you can pick up some kind of penalty down there. So 19 seconds for Wadsworth. I would say they'd have to go another 15, maybe even 20 yards to give Galford a shot at a field goal, because he'd be kicking into I'd say about a 20-mile-an-hour wind right now.
Hoover again dropping back, looking for Tricome, and intercepted. Third interception of the night for the Southview defense. Ben Asgard, number 55, the interception for the Cougars with 12 seconds to go.
If you watch this, it's just good defense. In fact, it's been good defense all night. Look at Asgard just turn around, and it looked like the ball was laid right into his hands. But even with the completions that Wadsworth had, you got to give credit. I remember that one that Copeland made, that diving catch on the sideline. You couldn't ask for any better defense than that. So they've been playing good D all night. Got to give them a lot of credit for that.
So Mike Hoover, 6 interceptions on the season. Coming into this game, has 3 here tonight in the first half.
And it looks like Southview's just going to kneel on the ball. So you don't trust them.
And that is the case.
And that'll be the end of the first quarter.
We'll wind down to 0-0. The Grizzlies will go into the locker room with the lead, 12-10. And as you enjoy the band, we'll tally up our statistics and see what happens here on WCTV in the second half for the Grizzlies. here for second half action in Tiffin, Ohio at Frost Calnow Stadium. And here's Larry Varner with first half statistics.
Okay, for Wadsworth, first of all, Mike Hoover was 7 for 16 for 167 yards, but the interesting statistic, he threw for 3 interceptions, and that was pretty good defense by Sylvania Southview. He also had 37 yards rushing. Chris Hawkins carried the ball 3 times for 16 yards, and Joe Tricome 6 times for 20 yards and a touchdown. So the Wadsworth rushing game hasn't been doing an awful lot. Penalties, Wadsworth was penalized 1 time for 5 yards. They had 13 first downs. As far as receptions, Chris Brink 1 for 37, Copeland 5 for 111, Hawkins 1 for 12. On the other side of the ball, the quarterback for Sylvania Southview, Peterson, 3 out of 6 for 27 yards and a touchdown. He rushed 11 times for 32 yards. Tony D'Amico had 1 reception for 13 and 1 reception for the other receiver row, and also the fullback out of the backfield, or the running back, whatever you want to call him, had 1 reception for 8. They were penalized 3 times for 40 yards and had a total of about 48 yards rushing, I believe, and 4 first downs. So Wadsworth will receive. They won the toss and elected to kick off in the first half. And the interesting thing is Wadsworth is going to get the wind in the 4th quarter. I'm surprised that Southview is kicking off this direction. They want the wind in the 3rd quarter. And the wind is significant here tonight. It's blowing from the left to the right on your screen at about 20 miles an hour. So 12-10, this is anybody's football game. And I think the defenses have played very well, and I think both offenses are probably a little disappointed that they haven't been able to move the ball better. In Wadsworth case, they've moved it all well, but not put more points on the board.
The strong leg of Jason Robbins ready to kick it off.
He put the first kicker, a couple kicks out of the end zone.
If you could see Osterlin and Tricome on your screen right now, they're way back at the goal line. Osterlin takes it at the 8 and finds a little bit of the seam and takes it out to the 33. Nice run back there by Ben Osterlin.
About a 25-yard return on that kick. And you notice the kicker approaches the ball kind of funny. It's like he runs forward, then he starts approaching the ball at a 45-degree angle before he kicks. I've never seen anybody kick off like that. But I'll tell you, it's very effective, whatever it is that he's doing.
First play of the second half is handoff to Joe Tricome, who stopped.
Number 20 was in on the hit that time, and at this point in time, I think the ink in my notes has run so bad that I can't tell you.
Well, that's Brad Through.
Yeah, but we're going to have to listen to the announcers to get the names of the players because there's just too much ink all over the place here on my notebook to figure out what's going on. So they haven't had much, almost no success running Joe Tricome, particularly on just a straight handoff, so I don't recall them running a draw with him. There's the draw.
The draw play to Joe Tricome works. He's at the 45, the 50, pushed out of bounds at the Southview 45. And the running play that has worked so well for the Grizzlies in the past several weeks works right here.
We've seen that against the 4-4, that Tricome doesn't have any luck at all when he's just trying to hit the line of scrimmage on a straight handoff. But on that draw, if you get the linebackers committing, it one little brush block is all it takes, and he's gone. That was a real nice run of 23 yards for Joe Tricome. It's more than he had the whole first half combined.
Hoover makes the line jump, and they get the penalty. Nice job by the Wadsworth line and Mike Hoover.
We saw that last week, and was it twice, I think, that he caught Anthony Wayne off guard? I think John saying once.
No, twice for a first down.
Twice for a first down on those hard counts. So 1st and 5, this gives Wadsworth a lot of options on a 1st and 5 with the kind of offense they got. Don't be surprised if Wadsworth goes for the whole thing right here.
Hand off to Joe Tricome, bounces off the line, gets a couple more yards down to the 39.
So that's the first
34,
down.
I'm sorry.
First down for Wadsworth, I'm pretty sure, depending on the spot.
They'll spot it at the 35.
It's going to be close. And the referees are calling timeout to measure this one. And from the spot, I don't think he got it. I thought he was about a yard further downfield, but they spotted the ball right at the 35-yard line.
Mike Hoover impatiently waiting there right on front of the ball.
We're going to help the referees out a bit. Okay, move it up a little bit more. Now move the chains back a bit.
And it's a very...
yeah, that much.
There you see it.
So here's an interesting call. What do you do second down and inches to go on the 35? Once again, it's a good place if you want to try to go for it all. But with the 3 interceptions that Hoover's had, I don't know if the coaches want to try that right now. They should just try to pick up the first down.
The passes have been fluttering here tonight with the wetness and the wind.
It's a bad night for a quarterback, that's for sure.
Hoover trying to make the defensive line jump again. He dives forward head first and gets the first down for Wadsworth.
Boy, you looked at those linemen, they were like jumping on every count that he made and just getting back. And you could see Hoover, nothing fancy, just puts his head down, manages to squirt through for about 2 yards. So first and 10 Wadsworth on the 33-yard line.
Nice block there by Josh Miracle, allowing Hoover to get the first down. Hand off to Joe Tricome. Goes to the right. Breaks the tackle at the 30 and gets down to the 23.
He had busted, well, he busted enough tackles for 2 runs on that play, but if he could have busted 1 more, that was a touchdown for Wadsworth. As it is, they pick up 9 yards, and I'm kind of impressed, John, the way the running game is starting to work. I've said frequently, good coaches make good adjustments at halftime, and I think what they've done is they probably made some adjustments on the blocking schemes out front. And Mr. Comey's getting yardage now like he never got in the first half.
Southview stacking the line a bit now. Fake handoff to Tricome. Hoover rolling out of pressure. Wide open. Chris Hawkins at the 20. At the 10.
Penalty flag coming down.
5.
They're going to call Chris Brink, or not Brink, Chris Brink for an illegal block. And looking at it, it was. And it was really unfortunate. He didn't quite get in front of the defensive back, and they called it a block from behind. I got to say, I hope we see it again on replay. If we don't, we don't, but I think it was a good call. There it is, a legal block on Wadsworth. Well, that really hurts, but good call. You can't fault the referees. In fact, I think the refs have done an awfully good job this game so far. And so they marched the ball back against Wadsworth. Since it's from the spot of the foul and was downfield, it only moves the ball back to give them a 2nd and 5. But, of course, they were down deep in the Sylvania Southview territory.
It's too bad. That was a nice job of Chris Hawkins getting open out of the backfield.
It was.
Had tons of room to run towards the end zone, as you saw. Now Hoover, draw play again to Joe Tricome.
Great
Scampers
tackle.
out of some tackles through the middle to the 21.
First down. Boy, how they missed him, I don't know. He was stood up twice, and once in the backfield and once about 1 yard past the line of scrimmage. Watch this. There's the handoff, and he's hit right there. And manages to bust out one, and right there at the line of scrimmage, he's hit again. But he still manages to squirt through until he finally got down to the 21-yard line. So Wadsworth looks like they're on a roll here.
Tackle was made by Darren Washington, sophomore. Or no, Brandon Veneer. Quick handoff to Hawkins. Makes a spin move down to the 18.
Pickup of maybe 4. And, of course, Wadsworth's going to try to get a touchdown, but if they don't, a field goal right here would be very big. It would make it 15-10 instead of 12-10 with the kicker that Southview has got.
There's a halftime score. Lake leading Olentangy 28-7.
Boy, they play some awfully tough football.
Edgewood 13, Lebanon 7. That's at the half.
So it looks like the winner of this game would play Edgewood.
Hoover has to scramble out of pressure. He's going to be sacked at the 28. And Hoover was pushed down again, and there's the flags from the ref on the unsportsmanlike conduct.
You got to call that. Hoover was clearly down, and he was just pounced on by another defender. And that's going to go from like a 3rd down and long to almost a 1st and 10. Might even be a 1st and 10, depending on where they spot it. But I don't think there was any doubt on that one.
So Uniontown Lake leading by a big margin. Edgewood just edging Lebanon at the half. Like to hear a halftime score on the Walsh-Brookville game.
Yeah, that would be interesting to find out. Referees are talking things over quite a bit.
And the Southview defense.
Personal foul, Wadsworth?
No, now he's correcting himself. He pointed the wrong direction. And that's a play that'll give the Southview coaching staff nightmares.
Yeah, it wasn't even a late hit. I mean, Hoover was clearly down, and then he was literally pounced on by the Sylvania Southview player.
And then a couple of the defenders back here in the backfield of Wadsworth were doing a little excessive celebrating too, and I think that's what really capped off throwing the flag by the referee.
So they'll probably call it after the foul, which is going to bring up a third down, I think. See if they call it second or third. They're calling it third down, so it's going to be a third down and 3. Boy, what a big turnaround, because it was going to be 3rd and 18 instead of 3rd and 3.
A pitch to Joe Tricome.
First down.
Momentum is stopped at about the 13, brought back to the line of scrimmage. Last week, Larry, the Grizzly offense was 8 of 12 in third down conversions.
Well, this is going to bring up a 4th down and 2, and it doesn't look like Wadsworth is going to...
Here comes
the field goal. Remember, he's kicking into a really big wind here, so he's going to have to get a lot of foot in the ball.
Sam Galpert with 6 made field goals on the season, attempting number 7 right here. Ben Vujis to hold at the 20. It's a 30-yarder. Kick is put down, kick is up, and it is no good.
He missed to the left.
Very close kick just to the left was no good.
So, even though they have the 15-yard penalty, Sylvania's going to take over on the 17-yard line, and that's got to give their defense a lift. Actually, they're marking the ball at the 20. And see what the Wadsworth defense can come up with now.
So Galpert is now 6 of 8 in field goals on the season. Peterson takes the snap, keeps it himself, gains a couple yards to the 22.
And they're getting 2 on the play, so it's going to bring up a 2nd down and 8. And I want to remark again, for the high-risk offense that Sylvania Southview does, and they do as many goofy things as like an option-type team, I'm surprised there haven't been more turnovers than they have.
There's the kick, Larry. As the handoff to Strube, he tries to get around the left end, he's at the 30, streaking down the line at the 40. Greg Dent finally brings him down just at midfield. If you could throw that video frozen frame back up there, if you will, that was how close. It was up there for a while. We did not see it on the screen. We apologize, but you saw the ball. It was, I mean, it was just to the left of the left upright.
Well, that was a big pickup by Southview. They got a 1st and 10 on the 48 now.
Reverse play. Strube gets the second handoff, breaks through. Vujis, the only man there to bring him down, pushes him out of bounds at the 16.
Boy, they're picking up yardage in chunks right now.
And Strube's speed has moving the Cougars quickly down into Wadsworth territory.
Well, I said before, at halftime is the time for adjustment. It looked like the Wadsworth coaches had made some adjustments on the blocking scheme. And it looks like Sylvania Southview has come up with some different wrinkles, too. Because they were gaining yards in the first half, but they weren't gaining yards like that. So they got a good thing going for them right now.
Peterson fakes the handoff to Strube, just runs through the middle, and he's tackled at about the 6.
That might be another 1st down, depending on where they spot the ball. I'll tell you, the Wadsworth defense looks pretty confused this series of downs. Southview's doing some good things. They marked them short of the 1st down. It's going to be 2nd down and 1 from actually the 8-yard line is where they spot it.
Long counts by Southview. Now Peterson takes it. He's going to throw from the 18 right into the middle of the end zone. It's caught by Tony D'Amico for a Southview touchdown with 5:59 to go in the 3rd.
Well, it was one of those deals. He got behind the linebackers in front of the safeties and it was wide open. And you can see the quarterback, Peterson's looking at D'Amico all the way. He's looking right over the middle. D'Amico comes open. Nice throw. And you can see there were no Wadsworth defenders in the area.
That's
16-12, and Southview is going for 1 instead of 2 to make it a 5-point lead.
Robbins,
wow,
just booms an extra point deep and high, making the score 17-12. The Southview Cougars leading here in the third quarter.
Well, Wadsworth, of course, has been in this position before. I think probably 9 of the 13 games they've played, they've been behind at one point or the other, and they've made some spectacular comebacks. So you know they're not going to go away. Sylvania seems to be pumped up now, and well, they might be. And the first thing they did was stop the Grizzlies and win this field goal, and then march right down the field. So they got a lot to feel good about right now.
I mentioned earlier, the Southview defense only giving up 10 points a game all season. Grizzlies only at 12 here in the third. Of course, the Grizzlies are only 1 point away from matching the amount of points Southview has given up in their first 2 playoff games. Robbins gonna put the leg into it again.
He's quite a weapon between the field goals and these kickoffs.
There
Look
it
at
is.
that. My Lord.
Deep into the end zone. Again, Osterland for the second time in a row just has to catch it and stay right there.
I thought I was a little surprised when Southview decided to give Wadsworth the wind in the fourth quarter. It looks like they know what they were doing, because that field goal, had it been going the other way, might have been good, Galford's field goal. And so Wadsworth is going to have to operate in the wind for all of this drive before, at least before the fourth quarter comes. You see 5:59 to go in the third quarter.
See if the Grizzly offense can step it up here. Fake handoff, Hoover rolls, then comes back, and Osterland was double covered at the 30-yard line, incomplete pass.
Yeah, that would have had to have been a perfect throw, because there were 2 people on him, and the ball had to be just threaded in there perfectly, and it wasn't. He's throwing right into double coverage here. Good defense by Southview. You can see 2 defenders, 1 on either side. And you got to give these defensive backs and linebackers for Sylvania Southview a lot of credit. They have played an outstanding defensive game, particularly given the skills of the Wadsworth receivers and quarterbacks.
Quick handoff, Chris Hawkins takes it to the 30, and then he's pushed back right there. Boy, Hawkins doing a nice job running the ball tonight.
He is. In fact, that's worked for them, I think, the best, that quick handoff to Hawkins. He getting 5 to 10 yards a chunk, and it's a first down for Wadsworth.
Other than the big draw play run we saw early in the third quarter by Tricome, yeah, Chris Hawkins is from the fullback position. Gives the Grizzlies a first down. Fake handoff, then pass out of the backfield intended for Hawkins, incomplete, 2nd and 10.
It was a nice pattern, but it was right off his fingertips. And they had a lot of success with that pass play, too, in the first quarter. I think you caught at least 1 doing that. It's a nice route. So 2nd down and 10 for Wadsworth.
Ben Vujis will be split to the left. Adam Copeland way to the right.
And the wind just kicked up, and it must be gusting to about 30 miles an hour now.
Hoover draw play to Joe Tricome. Works again as he jumps over the middle of the line, and he's tackled at the 39, a gain of about 8.
Well, Tricome isn't getting much just on the straight handoff, but on a couple of draws there, he's picked up good yardage. And Wadsworth right now is kind of electing to keep the ball on the ground, or they're running a little more than they have in the first half. It's going to bring up 3rd down and 2 on the 39-yard line.
Hand off to Hawkins. He gets nowhere. And the ball squirts out of the pile, and it's Southview ball!
Whoa, I didn't see that at all. I thought the play was down. And then all of a sudden, out of the pile came a Southview player. and dove on the ball, and they ruled that he was not down by contact.
It looks like the Grizzly offense just conceded that the ball was down and squirted it out of the pile, and the Southview players were saying, it's ours, and sure enough it is at the Wadsworth 33.
That's a big turnover. Like I say, Wadsworth
38.
They just quit on the play, figuring the whistle had blown it dead, and the referee said no.
Chris Brink shifting ends on the defensive line. Quick pass from Peterson to Rowe. It's caught at the 22.
What moves he's making.
Makes some moves to get away. He's going into the end zone for a Cougar touchdown.
Well, that was an awfully nice run after the ball was caught. Rowe did a good job of just faking this way, faking that way, and getting into the end zone. And it was one of those deals where it caught the Wadsworth defense off guard. They had taken Chris Brink and put on the left side, hoping to get him in there on the blitz, and he didn't make it in. And then he just puts on good move after good move. And now he sees the corner of the end zone. At this point, it's all over. So that makes it 23-12 with the extra point coming.
Jeff Rowe, the leading receiver on the Cougar team, averages 16 yards a catch. Got a touchdown there, and there's another booming extra point that would have been a field goal good from about 40.
Well, it's
24-12 with 4:34 to go.
Coach Dennison not too happy about something as he's calling his troops together. And I'd say Wadsworth has got their work cut out for him now. That one really hurt, both the fumble recovery and then the score so quick. And I think this is about as upset as I've ever seen Greg Dennison. Greg is a very even-tempered person. But he is...
Until it comes to coaching football.
No, I mean, most of the time on the sideline, he's pretty even-tempered, too.
Right.
But this time, he is really fired up.
Well, this is a big game.
Oh, yeah, it is.
This is the farthest any Wadsworth Grizzly football team has ever gotten. And they're wanting some success here to go a little further.
A little farther.
State semifinal would be the next matchup for the Grizzlies. Plenty of time left. They're only
plenty of time left, I agree, but I think psychologically Wadsworth has to score on this drive. I think they're not the kind of team that can go series of plays after series of plays and not score. They start getting down. So even though there's a lot of time left in the game, I think it's critical that Wadsworth scores right here. Put a little bit of spark back in the football team.
Yeah, the Grizzly offense does seem to pick up some momentum, especially with that passing game, and they just keep piling it on, and they just can't get it quite all together here tonight.
Another kick. Oh, well.
Osterland, third time, the back of the end zone. Robin just...
You know, you watch...
what can I say?
Unbelievable for high school ball. But you look at this Wadsworth team, and they've moved the ball well, and the stats look really good. The numbers look really good, but they haven't put the ball in the end zone. Plus, they've had 4 turnovers now. That sure doesn't help. So I think they've got to move it down the field and punch one in right now, psychologically.
Ben Vujis in motion. Fake handoff. Hoover scrambling out of a sack, and he takes it to about the 22, gain of a couple yards.
Well, I missed that one completely. I was watching Tracomie, and I thought, oh, he's got a decent gain on that play, but the only problem was he didn't have the ball. So it brings up 2nd and 8. We've got 4 minutes and 9 seconds to go in the third quarter, as you see on your screen.
Mike Hoover now rolling to the left, has plenty of open field as the pass is batted down at the line. He had Copeland open, who turned around in front of his defender, but the pass couldn't even get there. Third down.
As you watch, rolls out here, and watch the ball just get tipped right there, and there it goes. Actually, Copeland was pretty well covered. Again, you've got to give the defenders credit. I think Copeland could have made the catch, but the defense, as far as Southview was concerned, wasn't all that bad. So here comes the 3rd and 8.
And the Southview defense is really stepping it up here in the second half.
This is a really big play right here, 3rd and 8. It sounds strange in the third quarter, but it is. Wadsworth's got to get a first down.
Hoover Going to keep it himself, running around to the right, just has to put his head down. He stopped way short, about 5 yards short of the first down. Grizzlies will have to punt from deep in their own territory.
Well, that would be one of those. There was pressure on him, but that was a coverage sack. I think Hoover's a little, not exactly gun shy, but he doesn't want to put it up knowing how good those defenders are unless he's got a wide receiver pretty well open. And then when he decided to run with the ball, there was no hope of getting the first down. So Blackburn's back to punting into the wind. Might have a little trouble here.
Interesting, two back to receive the punt.
Whoa.
Snap is high. Blackburn does a nice job of grabbing it and bringing it down. And it bounces at the 47 of Wadsworth. Southview takes over in Grizzly territory.
It doesn't sound like much of a punt, but under the circumstance, I think that's the best that you can do. Starting off with the snap, which almost sailed over his head. Did a good job of getting the ball and getting it up in the air, but not too high so the wind couldn't catch it. So Southview now takes over on the 47-yard line. The wind is really starting to gust now.
Peterson takes the snap, quick handoff to Strube, going to go around the right end, gets away from a couple defenders. Ben Vujis is the only one there at the 30 to push him out of bounds.
That's about an 18-yard pickup, depending on where they spot the ball. And I'll tell you what's getting scary, John, is they're starting to do anything they want to do against the Wadsworth defense.
First down at the 30-yard line for the Cougars.
Actually, a 17-yard pickup. And officials timeout. Equipment problem, I think so.
The quarterback, Chad Peterson, walking over to the Southview bench. And they're going to need a timeout.
Number 55.
The referee called the timeout, but...
No, they're not calling timeout. They're just using the referee's play. Evidently, number 55.
Apgar.
Yeah, had some problems with his equipment or something like that. Didn't appear to be injured at all. And I can't see what they're doing over there. I think they're working on his helmet.
First and 10, ball on the Wadsworth 30. 3 receivers and a wing, all on the left of the line.
Oh, this is the first time we've seen that formation tonight.
The Cougars. And what do? The quarterback just takes the snap, runs with it, gets a 5-yard gain, 2nd and 5, ball on the 25.
Taken down by Greg Dent.
So they get you thinking, okay, we got 4 receivers out here, we're going to throw it that way, and quarterback just keeps it.
Well, I know for a fact that Southview has wrinkles in their offense we still haven't seen tonight. So it's kind of scary if they're doing this with their conventional stuff. What happens if they start the real trick plays? Because Wadsworth defense, I think if they got the Wadsworth defense thinking right now.
Peterson keeps it himself again.
First down, very close.
He's pushed back shy of the 20. Might be a yard or 2 away from it.
They're probably going to mark it short.
Doug Perigo, Ben Hill on the stop.
They're marking it about a yard short, so it's going to bring up 3rd and 1. And if they don't make the first down, you know they got a field goal kicker that can kick it that far. And
this Peterson's a nice-looking athlete. He's not that big, only 5'10", 160, but he's almost like you said, Larry, a running back standing back there. Okay, yeah, snap it to me and I'll run with it.
Yeah, it's hard to put a label on what he actually plays. Like, what do you call that?
That's a nice run down to the 15. Although we have seen him throw some very nice passes tonight too. So, well, one thing, double-headed quarterback.
Yeah, one thing about throwing those nice passes, his receivers were so wide open that he just didn't really have to throw a great pass. Maybe he can't. But in the 2 receptions that I remember, there was nobody within 5 yards of the receivers. And both times, the receivers went down behind the linebackers in front of the safeties and just kind of stood there and waited for the ball to come.
And that's something we haven't seen a lot from the Wadsworth defense all year. Their coverage has been really good all season. You don't see too many receivers wide open on the Grizzly defense. That pass incomplete, thrown low, intended for Jeff Rowe.
Threw the ball into the ground about 3 yards in front of the receiver, and quarterback's Peterson's a little bit upset with himself, but he kind of wishes he had that one back. So 2nd and 10 on the 15.
Southview also using the clock wisely here, just going to get rid of this third quarter altogether and only have one more to go. Peterson, quick handoff to Scrooge at the 10, 5, touchdown Scrooge. Southview goes up 30-12 with under a minute to go in the third.
Well, I got to say, this third quarter has been a disaster for Wadsworth. If you watch this, nothing fancy handoff. It looks like he's cutting wide, then he breaks inside, then he'll break back outside right there. And once he got past that little pile of defenders, it was just walk into the end zone. So 30-12 with the extra point coming up. And Wadsworth is going to be down by 18 or 19 points. And let's see how far he kicks this one. There's a, looks like a basketball type arena or something behind there, or basketball courts if he gets it into it. Not quite.
Well, the tennis courts there.
Oh, tennis courts, yeah.
Beyond the track, and he's booting that almost to the track. But another good 30 yards from the goalpost. So 21 unanswered points here in the third quarter by Southview. With 58 seconds to go, we have an injured Southview player on that extra point. He's laying down at about the 8-yard line. Can't see his jersey number to know who it is quite yet. Might have got the wind knocked out of him, or his hand stepped on, or something crazy. We don't know what happened.
Well, where we're at right now with 58 seconds to go in the third quarter, Wadsworth has to score 3 times, and they're also going to have to stop Southview, which they haven't been able to do in the third quarter. So, just going to have to wait and see what happens.
Well, they have a nice scoreboard here, Larry, at Calnow Stadium. They're putting up the other game scores there on the bottom.
And they're also advertising pizza.
Of course, yeah.
But as we said at the beginning, this is an artificial turf field, and there are 4 teams that use it. The 2 colleges, Tiffin College and Heidelberg, both here, and 2 high schools. There's Columbian, which is the school that we're at right here, and also Tiffin Calvert, which I think is Division 6, if I'm not mistaken, also use this field. So you can see why they put the AstroTurf down, and you're getting a lot of games played on this field. And as you can see from your TV screen, it's also marked off for soccer. They've got all the soccer lines on the field, and I'm sure with the 4 schools, there are a lot of soccer games here too. So probably wise decision to put in the artificial turf.
Here come the updates on the scores, regional finals.
Let's see what we got. Wadsworth at Southview. We know that one.
Yeah. And they're not going to put them up. Well, I saw them up there earlier. We'll wait till they go through the rotation of advertisements here.
Now, Subway. There's pizza again. See what else we got. I don't recognize that one.
Well, the Southview player is now up on his feet, and he's being assisted off the field. It
looks like there's something wrong with his leg, the way he's walking. Not putting any weight on his
number 81, Bryce Abbott, a junior. I hope I read that jersey number right. He's clearing the other side of the field, and my aging eyes are getting worse as the days go on.
Your aging eyes. Well, I think Wadsworth Metal is going to be tested right here.
And if I were Ben Osterlund, I'd just stand at the back line of the end zone and wait for this one.
If I were Ben Osterlund or Joe Tricome, I think I'd go sit back in the bleachers with the kids from whatever school they're from. I can't recognize the jackets they've got on. That's probably where the ball's going to end up.
And this one a little low, but
very short kick. Only carries to the 2.
Only to the 2, where Osterlund takes it out. At the 25 to 30. The 40, tackled at the 42. And something we don't see much of from the Grizzlies are great kickoff runbacks like that one. And Osterlund did a fine job giving the Grizzlies a chance here at the closing seconds of the third quarter.
Yeah, I don't remember any kickoff runbacks for touchdowns this year as you watch this. In fact, I don't remember any even coming close to being busted loose. That's about as good as it gets right there on the 40, maybe the 50-yard line. Well, that should provide the Grizzlies with a bit of a spark here.
Hoover rolling to the right, gets some nice blocks over that way, then throws it downfield, but it's way too high for Ben Vujis to make the catch. Ben Vujis has been a factor in the past few games for the Grizzlies. Tonight, he has not.
Once again, as you watch Hoover throw the ball, Vujis is well covered. Give the defense credit. You can see right there, there's a defender right on him. Any closer would have been pass interference, and Hoover just threw the ball away.
The last 4 games before tonight, Ben Vujis had 18 catches for 337 yards and 6 of his 8 touchdowns. Draw play to Joe Tricomi. Takes it into Southview territory.
Pick up a 9. I don't think Vujis has a catch tonight, does he?
Not that I remember. Ben Vujis, he runs the 40, Larry, in about 4.6. But we've seen his speed in the defensive backfield running down some receivers.
And barring an incomplete pass, and I don't think Wadsworth's going to throw on this. This will be the last play of the quarter. The referee's timeout on the field. Somebody's having trouble with their helmet again.
Here's some more interesting tidbits, Larry. The Wadsworth offense has been held to less than 4 touchdowns only once all season. And of course, you know which game that is.
Highland, right?
The Copley game, 35-7 was the final. So the Grizzlies have scored at least 4 TDs in every game but one. Well, it could be 2 after the final quarter ticks down.
Well, I think everybody's glad to see that quarter be over with. And Wadsworth will change sides and go with the win for the 4th quarter. And as you can see by the scoreboard, 31-12, Wadsworth is going to have to score 3 times if they want to pull this one out. In addition to that, they're going to have to figure out a way to stop Southview, which in the 3rd quarter they didn't do at all. The crowd is very good here tonight. There's Wadsworth fans. The seats look pretty much filled up. Some are standing alongside. Sylvania Southview brought good contingent there too.
Southview has scored with tonight's game 8 of their, let's see, tonight's game is game 13. Yes. So in 8 of 13 games, they've scored 30 points or more, and Wadsworth has done it 9 times.
I've got some stats for you. I'll give you a first chance that I get.
Defensive line jumps for Southview. He must have got back as Joe Tricomi just shy of a first down.
Hoover 7 for 20, 160 yards on the TD. I think that means that Hoover didn't complete a pass in the 3rd quarter. Tricomi 14 carries for 82 yards, Hawkins 5 for 30. And Wadsworth only penalized once. 3 big interceptions and the 1 fumble recovery are the ones that hurt Wadsworth. Copeland's been the big receiver, 5 catches for 123 yards. But the running for Sylvania Southview really was impressive in the 3rd quarter. Brad Strube has had a touchdown run. He's got 122 yards rushing so far. And the quarterback has passed the ball, 2 completions out of 3 passes and 2 touchdowns, 7 and 38 yards. And they're going to measure to see if Wadsworth made this one.
Well, it looked like Hoover dove forward enough to get the first down, and the Grizzly defense having trouble stopping some quick runners. We've seen it before in the past, aside from the great job the defense did last week. And it is a first down for the Grizzlies. Mike Hoover and his troops not giving up.
Hoover's 47-yard line.
Long pass down the middle of the field to Copeland. It bounces off his chest, incomplete.
And Copeland's jersey was being held, but evidently they say the pass was by him. As you watch, here comes Hoover back to throw. Now watch the defender after the ball. It might be after the ball is past him. Well, yeah, it was past him, so you can't call that for anything.
He grabbed his arm.
He grabbed his arm after the ball was passed. That's no foul, but I thought he might have been doing it before the ball got there. But
good defense by Tony D'Amico.
yeah, once again, you got to credit a lot of the Wadsworth lack of success scoring through the air on the great defense that's being played by Southview.
And Hoover's arm looks like it was hit as he just released that pass, and Copeland caught it while on his knee at the 40.
He went down to catch the ball, and I think he went down a little further than he thought he was going to his foot slip because he caught the ball on one knee. That's going to bring up 3rd down and 3 for Wadsworth on the 39-yard line.
I said at the beginning of the taping that Southview would have their hands full trying to stop the Grizzly passing game, and they've done just that. Comey finds a big hole, bounces off the defender, spins, and falls at the Southview 30.
That's 1st down, Wadsworth. That was a nice run by Chacon. He managed to get through the line there, and on down he goes.
Referee signals for the clock to continue to run.
And I'll tell you right now, the clock is as much Wadsworth enemy as Southview is. 10:24 to go, and you know Wadsworth can strike quick, but they've got to do it 3 times, and in the meantime, they've got to stop this Southview team.
Short drop back, quick pass out to Chris Brink at the 25, carries a couple defenders with him to the 22.
You wonder how soft that Southview is playing on defense. Are they giving them that just to keep the clock running and trying to keep everybody from going deep? I don't know. Take a look at the defense and see how far off the ball they're playing, because Chris Brink had a real big cushion there to catch the ball, but they had 2 defenders so that he couldn't get by or through them. So 2nd and 2 for Wadsworth.
Quick pop pass over the middle to Brink. Gets away from a defender. Pulls into the end zone. Touchdown, Wadsworth.
Well, I don't think Southview wanted to give them that much. That was a very nice catch and run by Chris Brink.
Just the strength.
Yeah, just stand up, pop it over the middle, and then he's a load. Breaks the tackle there. Breaks the tackle there. And then dives into the end zone for the touchdown.
Nice effort by
31-18 with the extra point to go.
Sam Galpert had one blocked earlier. This one is wide to the right. So 1 wide to the left field goal and 2 missed extra points by the Grizzly kicking team. Makes it 31-18.
And doing some quick mathematics, that's a 13-point lead. So Wadsworth to win the game, if they could hold, if they'd score 2 touchdowns and kick
2 extra points.
2 extra points, which is
32.
Doesn't seem to be too certain right now. They'd win a 32-31, but the thing that Wadsworth have to do now is stop Sylvania Southview. If Wadsworth ever needed a turnover or a 3 and out, they need it right now. As you see the ball there going past the goalpost, kind of hard to tell how much it missed by, but it did miss.
So the Grizzlies, well,
boy, Sylvania Southview's looking for an onside kick. They've got 10 people in the zone where the ball would go. I don't think they're going to kick it onside, and they don't. As Galpert booms it down, and it just goes into the end zone.
hits at the 7, and Strube let it go over his head. And the refs are saying it's down.
No, you can't down it. That would be...
Yeah, it'll come out to the 20. That's a touchback.
Yeah, if it went out of bounds, it would be a penalty, and they'd get the ball at the 35-yard line.
Yes, the ball has to stop and stay inbound.
I was surprised that they were playing to the onside kick, but I guess they figure they got nothing to lose. They get the ball on the 20, maybe the run back, they get it on the 30, and they don't want to take the chance of giving Wadsworth the ball. So here we go. The defense has got to come up big right now. 9:36 to go, and Wadsworth needs 2 TDs to get back in there.
Peterson barking out the call, as he's done so often tonight. Keeps himself, but he's brought down hard at the line of scrimmage.
Number 45.
Tony Moeller.
Good tackle. They give him a pickup of 1. And here you see, looking for a hole. There was a hole there, but then Tony Moeller right there fills it. And that's the best hit I've seen a Wadsworth player make all night.
And they're going to need a couple more of those. Grizzly defense feeling the intensity now with 9:05 to go in the game. Peterson, another familiar play. Strube takes the quick handoff, gains about 6, maybe a couple more.
And he stayed in bounds to keep the clock running. I don't know where they're going to spot the ball. It looked like he was stopped a couple times, but he just kept the legs driving. Wilhite finally brought him down. So they mark it up. It's a gain of 6, 7. It's going to bring up a 3rd and 2. And this is where Wadsworth needs to stop, right here.
Lucas and Steve Robertson now dropping back. Peterson looking over to the sideline, needs some help. It's going to be a delay of game. No, timeout just in time, I think, because the referee was ever so slowly inching towards the line.
That was kind of strange because Wadsworth, they kind of rotated their defense from a coverage right to a coverage left. And somehow Peterson didn't like what he saw, and he was trying to communicate with hand signals to the sideline, and he and the coach couldn't get on the same page. So he called, you could see the back judge, whose job it is to do this, just getting ready to blow the whistle when Peterson put his hands up to call the timeout. So it's 8:14 to go, and we still have 3rd down and 2. And so, clock it over a bit.
Well, regardless of the outcome of tonight's game, Wadsworth and the whole community of Wadsworth really should be proud of this Grizzly team, especially the senior class. They've given Wadsworth Grizzly football fans something no others have seen, and that's a trip deep into the state playoffs.
It's been exciting.
Peterson, quick pass, incomplete, intended for Tony D'Amico. Well, D'Amico just dropped it.
And he easily had the first down. So the defense did their job, and they're going to have to punt. Tricomie is back.
Still 8:11 to go in the game.
Punting into the wind, Wadsworth should, Sylvania Southview is punting into the wind. Wadsworth should get some excellent field position out of there.
Tricomie standing at his own 44, awaiting the punt from Tony D'Amico. D'Amico gets off a wobbler, and Tricomie's going to let it roll because
it rolls down to the 25-yard line.
24 is where number 32, Dave Hall, downs it.
So it's a 45-yard punt. Most of that was on the roll. And Wadsworth will take over there with 7:59 to go.
And if they can strike quickly here, Larry, it's anybody's game.
But I think the key is strike quickly. Of course, you know Wadsworth can do it. They've done it all year.
And it has stopped raining here pretty much the whole second half.
It's getting to be a fairly pleasant night.
So Hoover,
windy.
Hoover may have a nice grip on the ball here. Fake handoff, long down the middle of the field to Vujis. And it's caught and dropped at the 45 of Southview.
Well, I'll tell you, that would have been a circus catch. Vujis could only get one arm on the ball, and he was trying desperately to bring it in with his left hand, but it was not to be. That would have been a highlight film catch if Vujis had been able to make it. So, 2nd and 10 Wadsworth. That one didn't take very long.
Two receivers to the right for Wadsworth. Hoover gets a block. Hawk is wide open at the 30, the 40. Pushed out of bounds, just shy of midfield. Wadsworth getting closer. We've seen that play a couple times tonight.
I think that's the 3rd one tonight that they've done that. And they're using Chris Hawkins very, very well, both as a running back and as a receiver.
And it worked good that last time they tried it. However, the penalty brought it back. This time, Grizzlies have it on the 48.
So they're moving.
Draw play, Joe Tricomie into Southview territory. Almost breaks it loose, but he's called down. He drops the ball after he was down at the Southview 38. He almost broke loose and went to the end zone with that one.
You know, looking back at this game, that fumble there where the Wadsworth kids, and I too thought that Tricomie was down. It was a real turnaround in this game. And Chris Brink is coming off the field. He's having helmet problems.
Oh, it's face mask.
The face mask problems. And people are trying to hand him a helmet. The referee comes over to take a look.
Can't quite tell what.
Well, he's just getting
a new helmet now.
And he's back in. So the referee's called timeout there for that little bit of equipment problem.
Looked like the face mask or something got pulled away from the helmet there.
Now they wind the clock up again.
Or the chin strap may have been the problem on that helmet.
And now the referees are calling timeout. And I don't know what the problem is here. Talking to Chris Brink, who just had his helmet repaired.
They're double checking to make sure it is the right fit for Chris. Referees don't want to see any
I think they should
freak accidents here due to helmet not fitting right.
And I think they're going to try to put some time back on the clock, because they had run about 10 seconds off the clock while the ref was standing there talking. So I have a hunch that's what this one's all about. And now they're having a real conference here.
Southview fans booing.
I believe it's the back judge that they talked with, the black hat, that keeps the time on the field, and they're probably notifying him that. And so now they're winding the clock up again. The clock on the scoreboard is running with 7:19 to go.
They did not add
Maybe that was the problem.
Mike Hoover under center. Straight back to pass. And he's sacked at the 45 and back a little further than that.
The 46 is going to be a loss of about 7 yards. Good defense by Sylvania Southview that time. So that's going to bring up the second down, and actually they mark it only a 5-yard loss, where he was actually stopped at 2nd and 15 for Wadsworth. And once again, that wind is gusting, blowing from left to right on your TV screen. You can't see it, but that wind is howling right now.
Mike Hoover over the middle of the field. Tricoli makes the catch at the 25.
Down at the 21. And I was just saying how the wind was gusting, and I watched Hoover that time, and he didn't put much on that ball. If you watch him, he just kind of lays the ball out there rather than firing a bullet. Just lays it right into the hands of Tricoli. That was a really good throw, because with the wind like that, you'd have a tendency to way overthrow the receiver, and Hoover didn't do it.
Just on the run, that pass was made and caught. Draw play, Joe Tricoli at the 15. Beats the defender where he's shoved down at the 10 of Southview. 6:07 to go here in the game.
So Wadsworth is driving, and they're not out of this yet, trying to come back from that disastrous third quarter where they allowed 21 points. And they've got a second down and 1 on the 11-yard line with under 6 minutes to play in the game.
Fake handoff. Open is Joe Tricoli out of the backfield. In the corner of the end zone. Touchdown, Joe Tricoli. 31-24.
Now, though, they've got to kick the extra point, which hasn't been an automatic tonight.
And if they don't make this extra point, they would have to make the next one should they score a touchdown.
Just to tie the game.
Just to tie.
So this is a big extra point right here. And so far tonight for Wadsworth, the kicking game has been kind of an adventure.
Who just to hold.
That was
Kick
good.
is up. And it's
no
good to the right. That just fluttered up there, and boy, the Wadsworth kicking unit having a lot of trouble here with the wind tonight.
So it remains 31-24, and once again, the Wadsworth defense is going to have to come out and stop Southview. You know, it'd be interesting if Wadsworth scores again, and they would need 1 point to tie and 2 points to send it into overtime. You wonder if they'd go for the 2-point conversion at this point in time. Just something to think about down the road. And also, you got to wonder now if Wadsworth is going to try the onside kick. And once again, Southview is looking for it.
We've seen the Wadsworth kicking game just be so consistent all season long. Whether they're having troubles with the wind, the snaps, the holds, you know, the ball's wet, ball's cold, I don't know, but...
Well, let's see if Wadsworth tries the onside kick. It doesn't appear they're going to at this side, like they don't line everybody up on one side of the ball like you would for an onside kick. And Galper boots it long. And
Drew picks it up at the 15. And he squirts through the hole. And he's going to take it out the midfield, squirts away from some more defenders. Holy cow.
Steve Robinson made the tackle, and the last one he got away from was Sam Galper, and you kind of got to figure he's not in there to make a tackle, but he slowed him down enough for the rest of the Wadsworth defense to come up. I give Wilhite the credit for the stop. I thought it was Robertson.
A great return there by Strube, just getting away, forcing the Grizzlies to miss some tackles.
And you know, you look at where Southview's at, and remember that excellent kicker that they fought. Now, you'd have to be kicking into the wind, but a field goal would basically put the game out of reach for Wadsworth right now. So defense got to come up big.
Strube gets the handoff, goes to the right. Brought down at the 42, 43.
Picked up about 5 on the play and came down inbounds. The clock is still running with 5:17 to go.
I'm looking backwards here. He actually took that to the 37.
Yeah, I'm going the wrong way with you. Yeah, second down.
And you surely can't fault Sam Galford on those missed kicks. I mean, he's just been so good all season that,
well, like you say,
you run him out there expecting the kicks to go in. And now Strube again.
Good defense by Wadsworth. Well, the kick is a combination of so many things. The snap, the hold, the kick. Then you got the field conditions tonight, which certainly are less than ideal for kicking field goals.
The elements, the wind, the wet.
The drums, the natives, the heat.
I've missed the
Trenton
heat.
Trenton Edgewood beat Lebanon 19-7, so the winner of this game is certainly going to play Trenton Edgewood, whoever wins it, because Lake is beating Olentangy by a bunch. So the winner go against Trenton Edgewood.
Edgewood 19-7.
Something like that.
Peterson.
It's going to be close to the first down.
Okay, Uniontown Lake 42-7 over Olentangy in the fourth quarter. Edgewood beating Lebanon 19-7.
We're reading scores off the scoreboard here. Liberty Center 28, Mohawk 21.
What division is that?
That's Division 5.
42-7.
Well, nobody's too surprised that that's what Lake did. In the meantime, unfortunately, Southview picked up the fourth down, and
so you think that's how they'll determine it, Larry, that the Walsh-Buchtel winner will play late?
Oh, I'm almost certain of that. And the winner here would play Trenton Edgewood.
Peterson keeps it himself at the 30, and a flag on the play.
I don't know what that's going to be. I didn't see anything, unless it was a face mask inside there or a hold on Southview.
It's real interesting. They have
the Wadsworth fans are clapping. So what do they are? Holding. That's an interesting call. That's going to move him back 10 yards. So to bring up
Walsh 34, Buchtel 0.
Whoa.
The final score, Walsh Jesuit of Cuyahoga Falls. What was it?
34 zip, yeah.
Wow.
I don't think Jesuit shouldn't be playing Division II. They should be playing like Division 0 or -1.
Well, they actually, Larry, moved up a division.
Yeah, they were
Division 3.
Well, 1st and 10 for Southview. 3:36 to go on the clock running. And any kind of score here by Southview would put this game away. Once again, there's miscommunication. The quarterback, Peterson, looking over at the sideline, and there's their bread and butter, quick handoff. Oh, and he turns the corner.
To the 40, pushed out of bounds at the 42.
30, yeah, you're going the wrong way.
Yeah, again,
38.
I'm sorry. 38, Chris Brink just bear hugged him and pounced on him out of bounds.
But putting them out of bounds is actually a good thing to do. There's a pickup of about 5 on the play.
Stops
but I think
the
if Struve had it to do over again, I think he'd have gone down before he went out of bounds because he needed the clock to keep running more than he needed those extra yard or two. So
second down, 15.
I look around this stadium and nobody's left, that's for sure.
Ball on the 37. Peterson with Struve standing just next to him. He rolls left, looks to throw. He's being chased down by Dietrich, and Steve Robertson was there to dive and try to make an interception. Incomplete, 3rd and 15.
Well, I'll tell you, Southview is right now playing themselves out of a certain victory here. First of all, with the holding penalty, then going out of bounds and stopping the clock. Now the incomplete pass stopping the clock. 3rd and 15. They're going to have to throw again. So, you know, things look a lot better for Wadsworth right now than they did a minute ago, I'll tell you that.
Big play for the Wadsworth defense. 3rd and 15, 3:12 to go in the game, trailing by 7.
Passing again.
Peterson back, looking. Needs a break, and Dietrich sack him at the 38. Grizzlies want a timeout.
And they got it with 3 minutes and 1 second to go. And now what I would imagine that Southview do is just kind of pooch punt the ball and try to pin Wadsworth down.
Deep in their own
Yeah, inside the 10-yard line. And I'm going to say again, John, you know, if Wadsworth scores, should they go for 2 to win it or 1 to try to tie it? John's saying no.
1 to tie it.
No. With the adventures they've been having tonight, I'd go for the win. I'd put it all on the line. I'll tell you another reason why. Because their field goal kicker is so good. You know how important field goal kickers are in overtime, too.
Right.
I don't think you'd want to go
the troubles with the kicking game, you're right, but I don't know.
Well,
that's why I'm up here.
That's why we get paid what we get paid up here, and they get paid what they get paid down there.
I'm glad I don't have to make that decision.
No.
D'Amico back to punt at the 50-yard line. Pooches it up. It's going to fall at the 22, and the Grizzlies will take over at their own 16-yard line with 2:50 to go.
Well, we've seen that this before. This is nothing new for Wadsworth.
And the Wadsworth fans on their feet here at Town Stadium in Tiffin, home of the Columbian High School Tornadoes and a number of other teams we mentioned earlier.
Timeout being called by Columbian. I think that's their first timeout. Columbian, I'm sorry, Southview. You know, I got to say again, I mean, Southview really messed themselves over there. They had a 1st and 10 on the 35-yard line. They were driving. They get a holding penalty. The ball carrier runs out of bounds to stop the clock. 2 incomplete passes, and then they had the punt. I mean, really what should have happened there is Wadsworth should have taken over maybe with a minute to go, and now they got 2:50 to go. So,
the Wadsworth bench has a net for Albert to practice kicks in. He's over here just warming up, you know, kicking his leg at nothing, but
there's a net on the other side.
Right.
Yeah, I could see that. Well, here we go. Let's see what happens.
Ben Gugis in motion. Mike Hoover rolling to the left. Has plenty of blockers in front of him. Finds Copeland, makes the catch at the 29.
Well, the clock keeps running. He didn't get out of bounds, so he picked up the 1st down.
Well, that injured player for Southview is now being taken away in an ambulance. Maybe I'm wrong. Now the ambulance lights are off. His number was 81, I think. He looked seriously hurt for like a broken bone in his leg or something. Hoover fakes the handoff. Quick pass intended for Chris Hawkins out of the backfield at the 37. 2nd and 10.
Once again, that ambulance might have left, but they're the only people that did. Everybody else is still here. Well, whatever happens tonight, you can't say that Wadsworth didn't play an exciting game, and it's been interesting.
Straight drop back. Hoover over the middle. Intercepted for the 4th time at the 39.
Copeland's begging for a flag, but he's not going to get it. And, well, as you watch this, it's just one more throw into very, very good coverage. This is a great interception right here. As Powell comes right in front of Copeland right there and makes the pick. That's not who intercepted the football on the ground.
I didn't catch the number of the player that made the interception. But
It was Powell. And it's kind of funny. As this game went on, the last couple drives, it was like each team giving it to the other team.
Oh, Dave Paul? Is that who made it?
I'm sorry.
Snap and handoff to Scrooge at the 35.
And Wadsworth will probably call a timeout.
Boy, Larry, 6 interceptions in 12 games, and tonight 4.
And plus a fumble recovery. Wadsworth, turned the ball over almost as many times tonight as they have all year long. And some of the Wadsworth faithful are beginning to drift towards the exit. And there's a penalty against Wadsworth. I didn't even see the flag. They call a face mask penalty on Wadsworth. It moves it down to the 20-yard line. And first and 10 on the 20. And the clock starts running with 2:15 to go. And their kicker, even into this wind, I think, could probably make it from there. And that would be the clincher if need be. Wadsworth has 2 timeouts, I believe. I think they've only taken 1.
Well, they have timeouts left on the scoreboard here, but they're not using it. Scrooge.
Good tackle.
Brought down hard by Jake Wilhite behind the line of scrimmage.
And Wadsworth calls the timeout. There's a loss on the play, so that'll bring up second down and 12. 1:51 to go.
See what I mean there on the bottom left and right corners of the scoreboard? It says timeouts left.
But they don't.
And the box next to it is flat.
Yeah. I think Wadsworth has 1 more. It's kind of strange. You think, it's on the scoreboard. You might as well put up, 6 more light bulbs or something like that. Not really critical.
Ball rests on the 23, the 22 of Wadsworth. Peterson.
Guinea's looking over at the sideline, or maybe communicating with his wideout to the right. And look at this.
Fakes it to Scrooge. Keeps
Nice run.
Makes some moves. All the way down inside the 10. What a run.
That was
Chad Peterson.
Talk about a great run at the perfect time. That was just an outstanding run by Peterson. They faked the ball to the right, which is the play they've been running all night, and Peterson just came back. It looked like he was going to run left, and then found some openings inside and just start juking this way and juking that way. Took it down for the first down, and the referee's timeout. Once again, somebody from Wadsworth has equipment problems. This time it's a shoe. I don't know. Maybe Wadsworth better find a better supplier of equipment between the face masks and shoes and what have you that are breaking tonight. But that'll soon be repaired. And when we get going again, 1:33 to go. And Wadsworth, I think, only has 1 timeout. And if I'm not mistaken, probably Southview can just about run the clock down. They won't have to take a few snaps, not even try to score.
Well, should the Grizzlies lose this game tonight, they'll finish the season 11-2. Southview would become 12-1. It's not over yet, though.
No, but it isn't looking real good right now. But whatever happens, you got to say congratulations to Greg Dennis and his coaching staff, particularly the kids, for a great year. It's just been a wonderful excitement and a wonderful ride. And if it has to end here, well, I'm sorry it didn't go on, but I'm going to have very fond memories of this season for the rest of my life. I'll tell you that. I'll just say to the coaching staff and the kids, thanks a lot. You've made my year, or at least you've made my fall.
And very fun team to watch.
Yeah, exciting.
You're used to, as Stroop takes the handoff from Peterson, brought down by Chris Brink at the 10. You're used to Wadsworth Grizzly football being grinded out on the ground, run the ball, run the ball,
well,
run the ball.
Not since Greg Dennison's been here. You go with what you got, and even their running games, certainly weren't grinded out running games. When you think back of the running back they had, Kyle Obendorf,
Dan Herbert, and David Lance the last 3 years. And then this year to come up with this package, it's been exciting to watch.
40 seconds to go.
Now they're in a formation. Take a snap and kneel down.
And
they do.
We here at WCTV invite you to stay tuned to WCTV Sports for the Wadsworth Grizzly basketball season just coming up here. First week of December will be the first home game, I believe, for the Lady Grizzlies.
That's the last play of the game. They don't even have to take another snap.
Final
so
score,
31-14.
24.
31-24. Sorry about that.
Grizzlies just don't have enough in the bucket to bring out, get a victory. The Southview players run out on the field and celebrate as the scoreboard reads 0. Grizzlies season ends at 11-2, and what a season it was. Southview moves on to the state semifinal with a record now of 12-1. And what more can we say, Larry?
One thing I can say, the final score in the screen is wrong. It's 31-24. But other than that, it's been a pleasure, John. I've enjoyed working it, doing it here. It's been fun.
Yeah, I mentioned stay tuned for Grizzly basketball. That's always a lot of fun, and we wish the Lady Grizzlies and the Gentlemen Grizzlies a lot of luck this season. We'll be there to cover it. I'll be bringing you the play-by-play along with, I'm not sure who and when and where, but we'll be there, and we really hope you've enjoyed the coverage of Wadsworth Grizzlies football here on WCTV's Channel 16, and a big, big thank you to the volunteer crew for WCTV's coverage of football.
Amen to that.
Our director, Ken Buck, cameraman, Andy Levitt, and cameraman replay experts, Todd Constantine and Tyler Doyle. Without them, these games would not have been brought to you at all.
What can I say? It's been fun, John.
So you see the final score. Grizzlies season ends with a 31-24 loss to the Sylvania Southview Cougars. Thanks once again for tuning in all season long to Grizzly football. Stay tuned for the Grizzly basketball action here on WCTV Sports Channel 16. I'm the voice of the Grizzlies, John Bernard. We'll see you in a couple of weeks. So long, everybody.